You're listening to the Latino Nerd.
Yay!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Latino Nerd. And joining me today are, I've got someone new and a person who's practically my co-host at this point. Welcome back, Slay.
It's me again. It's so exciting. I know people are going to be fed up with me at this point.
Nah, absolutely not. And making her Latino Nerd debut, you may have seen her on TikTok lighting the wrestling world aflame with her.
haven't I? It's my legacy now.
Welcome, Vaughn. Thank you for joining me.
Lovely to be here. This is like no joke, a dream. I'm so nervous, but so excited to be here.
Don't be. You're amongst friends, and some people want to watch the world burn, and you happen to be with two of the biggest.
Yep.
Oh, just you wait. Just you.
Absolutely.
And today, the world's greatest announced team are here
this is sticking
to give you our hot takes on everything wrong with wrestling.
Absolutely.
Now,
part one.
Absolutely.
Part 1 of 27. That's
as you guys know.
Infinity sign.
As you guys know, I am a huge wrestling fan, but part of being a fan is that you're gonna find some shit about wrestling that's you're gonna be like, maybe not so much, and that's what this episode is all about. So if you're one of those people who blindly follow whatever federation that you are a fan of and don't like hearing shit pointed out, might I suggest clicking on one of the videos below that are suggested? Not related to this.
This ain't the place for you.
Go take a walk or something,
Yeah.
Or wait till episode 23. Whatever your option is.
Just go and
unless we're back for episode 23.
Go for a walk, pet a cat, learn how to knit, something like that. It's just occupy your time in other ways because you will be upset.
Go back to your video essays about how the Attitude Era was great or something. I'm starting hot, guys.
Let's point to my entire page of notes about how the Attitude Era actually stinks. Here we go.
Got right to it. All right.
I came in here with 5 pages of notes, so we're doing excellent.
Whatever streaming
off the top of my head.
Whatever streaming platform you're listening on, you best go back to listening to Drake or Beyonce. This ain't your part of the program. Coming in hot. So on this episode, we're going to discuss a little bit of everything from women's wrestling to Vince McMahon, and we're going to shatter some myths about some of your favorites. And if you guys know me, you guys know how I feel about Hulk Hogan. So
yep,
and wild. But
I'm just
we
saying
all have one personal gripe with you're gonna be known for Hulk Hogan, she's gonna be known for Matt Riddle, and I'm gonna be known for Cody. That's how it's gonna be.
Obviously we have the actual serious issue of him being disgusting, but I think 80% of my conflict with Matt Riddle would be resolved if he just put some fucking shoes on. Oh my god!
You would hate the wrestling indie scene in Maui. The Von Erichs and them, they train all there. They're all barefoot, I swear to God.
I would not cope with that. I can't.
I don't know how they do it too. I've met them and I just don't know.
I look at my own feet. I just hate feet as a general concept. They're disgusting and I hate them.
You would hate the Cody and MJF stuff then from AEW a couple months ago.
No, can't do it. Cannot do it.
Yeah, that was wild. I have really nice feet, so I guess, and
there's
I know
no such thing.
There are, and I know some guys with some pretty grody feet, and I am happy to say that I am not one of them. Thankfully.
Can we please move on, because I'm starting to feel slightly ill from having to think about feet.
If anyone's interested, just find me on Patreon or something. There's got to be a market for that, right?
Yeah.
For Matt Riddle's feet?
No, for mine.
No, there's plenty of free
got to be a thing for my. I don't know.
There's absolutely a market for feet pics.
There has to be.
Yeah.
So
I discovered the hellscape that is pro wrestling feet pics recently.
Oh no!
Which is just it's people obsessively screenshot photos of like people's like Instagram stories or whatever where they can see their bare feet,
Oh,
and
yeah,
it's
there's
like stop.
definitely a market for
I
that.
think I was doing like a drawing project for uni, and I think I was looking for like, I can't even remember who it was. It wasn't even like a woman as well. It was like Mick Foley or something. He's on pro wrestling feet, like and they're not nice.
There's a website for this.
Yes.
Oh, definitely.
It's
I know
like-
there's like a Tumblr for like really creepy photos of like
Yeah, no,
they're just,
I-
like cropped.
It's not good. It's just
Since the whole page thing, I've had my share of wrestler leaks.
It's
Yeah.
like I think the thing is, I think part of my issue comes from having been a child aged 12 with unsupervised internet access and a DeviantArt account. I think this is where my issues stem
That's
from.
how it begins.
Like, yep. So I'm abjectly horrified by most parts of the human anatomy because of the things that I've seen done to them on that fucking website. Like,
That's
all
fair.
inflated.
I don't think I ever had. I never had a DeviantArt because
Don't.
I do have quite a few talents, but that form of art is not one of them. So
I just thought it was a nice little wholesome platform for sharing my art when I was 12. No.
everything starts as a wholesome platform. Like
My
let's
best friend when I was 13 was a random 30-year-old furry that I made friends with on DeviantArt, and we're still friends and we still talk. It's so bizarre. Like,
that's amazing.
yep,
I mean, you should have known better with a place when they first called themselves DeviantArt.
yeah.
It took me years
I
to
didn't
figure
know
out
what it
was up with
meant.
that.
I was 12. Like, I
Yeah.
couldn't read. It's
I didn't know vocab just yet.
yep.
Look, I've met a lot of great people on some very odd websites. Like I met a very, very good friend of mine who I've had for years on fucking Vampire Freaks. Yeah, I know.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, again, like while we're on this, like one of my closest friends to this day, I met because we used to co-write RuPaul's Drag Race porn fanfic. So there you go. That's
how it works. Like
we
a
went
lot
on
of my friends right now are
vacation
that.
together. Like we're properly like best fucking buds, and it's
That's
like
amazing.
that's where it came from. We used to write porn together. So there you go.
I actually met my wife when she randomly commented on a picture that I took with a friend of mine that she also knew.
Oh,
I didn't know this woman from a can of paint, and now
that's
I'm
really sweet,
married to her,
actually.
you know, yeah.
It's just modern internet society now.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we're doing, especially with COVID and stuff. Like that's kind
Yeah.
of
Mm.
I mean,
not bad by any say.
COVID is the whole reason that this podcast exists now. So,
Oh, there you go.
and here we am, and like here we am. See, I can't speak.
Here we am.
Here we
Yeah.
am.
We've got
22,
a
22
collect-
episodes in.
Mm.
Yeah. I've talked about everything from sex to pro wrestling. I don't know what's left after this.
both like
I
sometimes multiple in the same episode.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of that here. in
Yeah.
this episode.
Oh yeah.
Speak out
But-
movement. We're talking about it.
Oh yeah.
So, I guess my first topic of discussion is this whole and I know that you guys have both had some crazy hot takes on it. This whole independent contractor thing.
Oh yeah. Right. Let me find the correct page of the
Yeah,
notebook
right.
for this.
It's
Right.
in my mind real fast.
My whole thing, I looked into this as an employee of McDonald's. I have more workers' rights than WWE talent, which is fucking bananas. Like, it's kind of, the one thing that really gets up my ass about the independent contract thing is like above everything, above the owning the copyright to the names and the no compete clauses and being able to be released like without questions. All of that is almost okay if it wasn't for the fact that they don't get medical insurance, which is
Yep.
wild to me.
Mm.
Because it's like, it's a job where getting horrendously injured at least once is like an accepted condition of it. And the fact that the company that is causing that does not pay to treat any of that is insane. And it's how you get people like Jake the Snake having a crowdfund to get a hip replacement. It's like,
Right.
what the fuck kind of dystopia? Like, this is
And-
not okay.
One thing that gets me about it is that so they aren't provided with their own medical insurance, so they have to go see their own doctors. And then even after their doctors tell them everything is fine, WWE's doctors then have to tell them that everything is fine.
Which are just as shady. Like
Yeah. Like, that's...
So the doctors that you don't even pay for them to see are not good enough because your guys have to say, nah, you know what?
It's just insane. And like, oh, there's so much stuff that's so like, how is this okay? Like, I can't remember who it was that like, I can't remember who it was that described it like this, but like WWE contracts fully just aren't worth the paper that they're printed on, like completely. Because the thing is, none of it holds up legally, because when you look at it, like, you know, when Brock Lesnar sued WWE to contest the no compete clause, they basically just handed him that. Like, there was nothing in there that could hold him to it, essentially. So they were just like, yeah, fair enough, on you go. Like, it's so, like, I just don't get it. Like, why are you so committed to not giving a shit about your employees that aren't even employees?
That no compete clause thing always stuck out with me, because it's like, I could see a few weeks maybe, but like the
3
thought
months.
of you can't wrestle anywhere else for 3 months.
Yeah, which can be detrimental to a lot of wrestlers' health.
Yeah.
Right.
It's especially like when you look at stuff like Black Wednesday and stuff, where they kind of just released like 30 people kind of on a whim.
God.
And then that's it. That's your life on hold for 3 months. There's nothing that you can do. And especially for people like Rusev, who had that huge, like, had a lot of momentum behind him and shit. That's dead for 3 months. And then when you come back, you can't use your name because WWE owns it. Like, that is insane to me for some reason. Like,
unless you're the Ultimate Warrior, which I think is the greatest loophole anyone has ever loopholed.
Where you legally change your name.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, like, China tried to do that, and apparently that didn't fly, so she just stuck another N in it and just was China. And, like where, I can't remember where. Yeah, she just she legally changed her name to China. They still wouldn't let her use it, so she just went as China, but it had 2 N's, so it technically was okay. Which is kind of fun, honestly, but like, the drawback to that is then your legal name is Ultimate Warrior, which I can imagine would cause some confusion in, like, you know, airports and shit. Like, that's
true. But he was always like, even like later in life, like he was kind of like proven to be kind of like off his rocker a bit, and like,
yeah, that's fair.
Homophobic.
It's like, imagine if you like come across someone in like a liquor store or something that just doesn't know anything about wrestling. It's like, sorry, your name's what? Like,
isn't there a guy like literally in like New Zealand somewhere? He changed his name to like the Wizard. I'm pretty sure there's a guy like,
yeah, there's some strange
Wizard.
ones that I've heard. Like, I've heard like fun ones also. Always people like babies not being allowed to be called something. I remember there was a whole thing where like the German government like sued someone because they tried to call their baby hashtag.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and what's it, Elon Musk, because they live in like California. This really weird law that they couldn't give their kid the name they originally gave them.
Well, that's because it's not a name; it's a fucking randomly generated password. Like,
I still don't know how it's pronounced, and I don't know.
I'm actually.
It's pronounced like an AOL dial-up noise, I believe, is the correct pronunciation.
I actually learned the pronunciation recently, and I was like, okay.
How?
That's like an SAT question I definitely flunked, you know? Like,
okay, so and I have non-wrestling related, but the baby's name is actually pronounced XASH-A12.
That's so stupid.
XASH-A12 is his name.
How do you shorten that?
Like, it's like one of those Mad Lib things where you say it faster and it turns into something, or that's not a Mad Lib, but what were those things they had? Those things, right?
Yeah, but they couldn't use the original spelling because under California law, it contained characters that are not in the modern English alphabet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, technically, like, if any kind of like documents and stuff like that, it would be hard to actually try to type that out. So I mean, in a way, it's
like you can have hyphens and stuff because you have like double-barreled names and stuff. But like,
that's what they ended up doing. They ended up spelling his name as like AE. It's like AEA-XII
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, stop it. Just stop it. Like,
XASH-A12 is his name.
I don't accept that. That's not okay. Why do you hate your child so much that you would call it that?
I mean, I guess
listen, I'm bitter enough that my parents called me Edie and no one knows how to pronounce that. Like, imagine being called that. and I still can't even process how to say it because my brain functions at half speed. So like,
I'm going to change my name to, you know what? I'm going to change my name to just my logo.
Like Prince.
Yeah, it's just going to
I mean,
be.
it works.
that's brilliant.
It's
That
just
is
going to be a
brilliant.
picture of my head. Like, what's your name? Never you mind.
Yeah, it's like
Don't worry about
what pronouns do you use? Never, none. Don't refer to me in the third person for any reason. Like,
I feel like that's a Vince thing. That's like going to be on like a Vince contract.
yeah.
Don't refer to me at all.
So
Yeah.
you have pronouns, do you?
Oh no.
That's good shit. Well, I'm gonna call you Toast.
All I can think about is like a new character of just like progressive Vince. That's all I want
Yeah.
to think of
Oh
now.
my god.
Just,
What
like,
did you?
completely.
Yeah. It was you saying Toast just made me like the bit in Beyond the Mat where he's like talking to Draws about his new character and how he's gonna be called Puke and like that whole thing, and it's like, and then he makes him vomit in a bin in his office, like sneezing, absolute no go, but on command vomiting in a business meeting, sure
Yeah,
fucking
he's a
thing.
weird thing about body fluids. I don't
He
get
really does. Like shitting himself on TV, fucking like finding his own farts hilarious.
He
Like,
did also piss himself during that segment with him and Stone Cold.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like fully on.
Yeah.
The fact that that was a shoot piss as well is like that was actual piss, not just a concealed water bottle, is insane. Like, but I sat the other night and watched. We sat and rewatched the 2005 Royal Rumble, which is one of my favorite pieces of wrestling programming. Because it's the one where he walks down the ramp and then cracks both of his legs on the ring apron, tears both his like quads, and then has to sit in the sit at the side of the ring like a grumpy child who's just crapped himself. And then like when the match restarts, they have to move the camera so someone could like lift him out the ring because he can't fucking stand up. It's like, what? Just why is Vince McMahon? Like, period.
Why?
Like,
Why
That
is
needs to be
Vince-
a shirt. Why is Vince McMahon? My dog.
why is Vince McMahon?
He
Why
agrees
is
with you.
Vince?
Why is he like that? Like,
Why is
Too much
Vince?
power, too much money.
yeah.
Yeah.
The ability to have no one say no to him.
Yeah. Oh, here's just while we're on crazy Vince stories, I remember like hearing someone talk about basically somebody had pitched an angle to him with Big Show where Big Show was gonna get like poisoned or something, and they said someone was gonna feed him a poisoned burrito, and Vince wouldn't let that happen because he thought that no one would know what a burrito was because he didn't know what a burrito was.
I don't.
Best part being, apparently every day at noon, his secretary brings a beef burrito to his office. And it's like, all right, fine, enjoy your steak wrap, pal. Like, great. Crack on. Like, come on.
That's fucking great.
It's just, I don't understand how he's just one of these insane Republicans that's going to live forever out of sheer spite, isn't he? Like,
Yeah, he has the money to fund it.
yeah.
That's true.
Like, he's going to be like one of these, like, Futurama, like, heads in a
I was gonna
jar.
say,
And
he's
he's
gonna be
still going to, like,
All
Yeah.
unattended children will be sold to zoos.
I'm doing the don't see me thing again. I need to
No.
stop this.
Like I
It's
said,
like-
we're gonna be the Trixie and Katya of pro wrestling. We're just gonna be flailing in the
Silly.
background.
It's like that bit from Raw recently where like Asuka was like doing that promo and Sasha and she just went, "You don't see me." And it was so
So good.
beautiful.
Love her.
I would die for Asuka, like 100%.
I
Agreed.
now do
He
this
could kill us.
thanks to absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks to like Oscar's YouTube channel. It's become a thing between like a coworker of mine,
Mm.
and like if he's hungry, he'll look and he'll go, "Hey Jordan, are you hungry?" So I'll just look and I'll go, "I'm hungry. I'm hungry." He's like,
It's so good.
"I have to do the
My-
Oscar rock now," and I'm like, "Yes."
One of my other favorite Asuka bit is like, I think it was when she was feuding with Charlotte Flair at like kind of middle of this year, and she's like in the like backstage bit doing her little dancey, and then Charlotte is like, "Oh my god, do you ever take anything seriously ever?" And she goes, "Yes, I do," and like bitch
Oh, it's like-
slaps her. It was
I
beautiful.
love that moment.
I really want to do a drag performance to Asuka's theme that's all just her little
Do it.
Do
like
it.
that thing, and then have someone come on at the end as Charlotte and do that bit, but the person that Charlotte's just gonna be in a bathrobe. That's
One of my favorite One of my favorite Oscar moments, actually, it was from earlier this year, was when she found out Becky was pregnant,
Oh, so sweet.
and it was so wholesome.
It was
I
so
love
cute.
that.
But then you forget that at the time, WWE was booking her as a heel,
Mm-hmm.
and
just
that,
And then they immediately had to fucking U-turn on that because it was just so wholesome. Like that's yeah. I feel like I remember, like we've set out to be like we're gonna like fucking burn wrestling to the ground, blah blah. We're just been sitting pissing adoration for Asuka for the last 5 minutes because she's one of the few good things about wrestling. Just her mere existence.
We'll talk about the good and the bad because I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
when we talk about
absolutely.
things, like we don't really want to burn it to the ground per se.
Oh,
It's just we
totally.
highlight some things that do need to be
Yeah.
discussed. But then
It's-
a lot of fans are just like, "Oh, well, you're just trying to cancel everybody." Like, no. If you listen to us,
It's like
we
you're
wanna
the one
bring
that's
it to light.
bringing the word cancel into the conversation.
Yeah.
None of us
We-
suggested that.
we are
Like-
not out to cancel anybody. We are just here to point out, not you two, just the people at home watching. We're not here to cancel anybody. None of your favorite wrestlers are going to be canceled.
Yeah.
We're going to
We-
crap on them.
People
maybe.
try; they haven't happened
Yeah.
yet. A
Yeah,
lot of people.
It's just like
I mean, in some cases, need to, but like the way pro wrestling, like
mhm.
the world has been lately, just like fans kind of excuse a lot of.
yeah,
they-
they're kind of like that's the thing is the kind of willingness of a lot of people just to look the other way because they don't want to do any critical thinking about their faves is very like,
Very
it's-
telling.
yeah,
Yeah.
completely.
I mean,
'Cause that's-
there are some people in WWE who I feel should be canceled.
Oh yeah,
but,
definitely.
Mm.
Like, for example, Jackson Riker, and it has nothing to do with his personal political beliefs.
He's the
I find
shithead
it-
from the Forgotten Sons, isn't he?
Yes,
Oh
Yes.
yeah, I forgot about that.
and I find him painfully boring.
Yeah. Like
That's the only reason I cancel him. I find
'Cause
him
here's-
boring.
here's the thing is I think that a lot of people wrestlers who are shitty people are also not very engaged because like once again we've got my best pal Matt Riddle, his whole thing is just fucking stonerized like yeah fucking frostbite in the feet and fucking yogurt and pizza and stoner nonsense. Like, I'm not even gonna do the voice again because he doesn't deserve it. Like he doesn't deserve an impression. Ugh. It's like I've met 15 of him in like clubs and I've wanted to punch all of them. Like that's it's inexcusable. Society has evolved past the need for Matt Riddle. Like
That's fair.
Well, it's the same thing with like Lars. Aren't the WWE still trying to make Lars a thing? For the life of me, I don't understand.
Oh my god.
yeah.
Oh yeah, create.
I thought it was gone until someone like
The-
recently brought up that
the-
like Lars is still trying to be a thing. Oh my
The
god.
thing that fucks me off about him
Yeah,
and it's
create a
really stupid,
racist.
is the fact that he doesn't emote from here up. Because he does his whole big thing, but he looks like this.
Lars
He looks
Sullivan.
like he's trying to catch flies. It's shit.
Lars Sullivan literally looks like someone tried to create a wrestler on like WWE 2K15, and they picked beard number 5 and was just like, yeah, that'll work.
That's fine, yeah.
That's fine. Even his finisher just looks like if you went into the very last like menu of the creative wrestler and you just press X on the very first finisher that popped up.
Yep.
You're like, yep, that's it.
Oh, here's another thing that I find quite amusing about Lars Sullivan, and this is not a knock on him personally, more on WWE's morality towards such things. Before he was a wrestler, he had a career in gay porn.
Yeah, there's like which is
Which-
weird when he like links up with
When
his deeply homophobic views.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then also when you think about the number of women that have been shit on for their sex tapes getting released.
And exactly that double standard, because there was a woman in NXT. I don't know if you guys remember her, but her name was Aloisa.
Mm-hmm.
She was 6'9" and
Jesus.
was fantastic.
I've never seen this woman before, but I think I probably
And
fancy her.
I was a big fan of her from Jump. And then it got out that she like was in like a racy photo shoot. She wasn't even nude. She wasn't even nude. And Vince found out about it and was like, oh, we can't have that now, can we, in WWE?
Yeah.
Oh.
See,
Fire
this is
No, we have to be the ones who do
Yeah.
the racy photo shoot.
this is my big thing that always gets up my ass is that when we talking about kind of adult material in wrestling is X-Pac in China really bothers me, because here's the thing: China, reputation ruined forever, never got back into wrestling properly, was this whole big shebang about how she shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because what if someone Googles her and they see her boobs?
That's still such bullshit. Like,
It's bullshit. But the thing is, X-Pac was also in that video, and like, where was this level of energy for him? Like, Triple H wasn't sitting in an interview going, yeah, we can't induct X-Pac into the Hall of Fame twice because, like, what if someone Googles him and sees his penis? Like,
Meanwhile, Superfly Jimmy Snuka killed a guy, and
yeah.
well, a woman rather, and you know.
Yeah, still in there. Donald Trump exists and is still in there. Like, the number of people that are objectively pieces of shit that are still in there, but no, China got her sex tape leaked, so fuck her, I guess. Like, that's
a really weird double standard.
And that's the other thing as well, is that they totally, like, this was a piece of information that I found out a while ago, and like obviously, like, WWE totally washed their hands of China because Triple H broke up with her, and fuck her rights, I guess, like, fuck her, I guess. So, like, that was it. She left, because they were trying to offer a $40,000 a year contract,
Right.
which is insanity. So she left, never got back with them, like, tried and failed to get back into wrestling for ages.
Right.
Had this, like, was having these, like, hugely public meltdowns and was, like, very obviously not doing good.
Yeah.
They did nothing and didn't intervene anyway. X-Pac, meanwhile, around about the same time, was going through quite a lot of similar issues.
There we go.
Oh my god, I love
That's
her.
Eloisa.
Holy shit. That's awesome. Yeah. But about the same time, was going through some very similar issues. WWE paid to put him through rehab.
Stupid.
Yep.
And this is the man who nearly killed a young AJ Styles because he came to the ring high on crystal meth. So, you know, we're really picking our battles wisely here, I think. It's just that kind of piece of information really, really riles me up, especially the fact that, like, you know, it's the difference in treatment. It's like, yeah, you can get I think that, you know, the whole, like, what if someone Googles your name and sees tits thing, if you want to find the porn that China's in, you've got to fucking look for it. Like, it's not the first thing that comes up on Google. Like,
Also, it's a really weird thing that he's, like, trying to defend, or, like,
yeah,
like you're saying, like, looking for, like, oh, if you Google her up, you're gonna find, like, the porn stuff. But, like, the WWE isn't like the most, like, chaste, especially when it comes to, like, exploiting their women and, like, putting them out there.
It's like, okay, what if they see titties,
like, we're for
but,
the kids, but, like,
yeah, it's like, think of the children as if, like, Sable isn't a thing that existed. And full preface, I fucking love Sable. I think she's awesome. Like, I want those hand pasties badly, but also it's like, you can't. It's like it's like claiming one thing and then doing another. It's like you're having people, you know, fully get naked on your programming and stuff. But if they do it of their own volition, not happening. Like,
I would like to point out that it is much easier to find Seth Rollins' dick pic than it is China's porn films.
Absolutely. Like,
I forgot about that too.
Yeah.
That's like a really unfortunate incident, because a lot of leaks and stuff like that, like, I mean, it's not the fault of anyone who got leaked. Like, that's just, like, a really shitty situation.
Yeah.
And I agree, and it's terrible. Right. And I agree, and that's terrible, but I feel like that's the only reason none of the women involved were punished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, the only reason I feel like they weren't punished is because that stuff leaking was the fault of no one. And there were also male superstars who were leaked as well.
Who had stuff. Because I remember, like, hearing a thing about how, like, so Charlotte Flair had stuff come out in the leaks. And, like, apparently, like, she was in the middle of a big push and Vince was for, like, ending it. But the photos that were leaked were not, like, lewds. It was photos she took to send to her surgeon because she'd had issues with her implants and needed to get it sorted. Like, that was what it was. It was completely non-sexual. And yet, like, with the whole leak stuff, apparently it was Stephanie that did quite a lot of talking people off a ledge and actually, this is no one's fault. Please calm down. Like,
exactly. Which I also think is disgusting, and it's not to the fault of the superstars involved, but when they had that whole rap battle thing with the New Day and the Usos, and Jimmy brought up the whole thing when he was like, just don't get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. And I'm like, that that was humiliating enough for both.
Yeah.
That's a huge gripe I have within like companies like WWE, and even to the extent of AEW, like across the board, like using like real life things like that. It just is highly uncomfortable, and a lot of people, Lara was like, "No, it's fine. Like they okayed it. Like they got the clearance for it. Like that's still a deeply personal issue.
Yeah,
Might
that's
not
been
affect like the person who's doing it, but they're getting publicly humiliated, and like it could happen to someone within your audience. Like these are real things,
issues.
Like,
That's been a big gripe of mine with the way that Jeff Hardy has been utilized in WWE this year.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that whole because obviously he's done documentaries and stuff talking about how that period of his life was really like awful, and then you've got on weekly TV Sheamus calling him a junkie and making him do urine tests in public and stuff, and it's like, I know that it's a work and I know that it was signed off on, but it's just too close to the bone and it's uncomfortable. Like, and that, and like Baron Corbin's like throwaway line on SmackDown a while ago about like the allegations against Matt Riddle, and it's like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, Christ.
It's
like,
just, it's like the same thing with like the whole that angle with CM Punk and Jericho, where Jericho would keep trying to get CM Punk to like drink beer.
Yeah, it's just
and then they had that shitty thing where straight edge CM Punk harassed Jeff Hardy about his drinking problem.
Yeah, they're not good at, they're bad at Jeff Hardy, really, as I think. And then they were recycling it with Elias, and like I said this earlier, it's like, if Elias just went back and watched SmackDown from at that point, we would not be having this conversation. He could have dealt with that in his own time. Like, it's just like, it's one of these things where it's like, we all know that it happened. They don't need to keep rehashing the same shit and talking about it constantly. And that's the thing I think is that the issue that I have, and this flows into a lot of stuff, is that WWE don't have a clue how to do nuance.
No,
so they've got to have these stories where they're just battering people over the head with stuff like, do you get it? Like, he was an addict. Like, you know, are you getting this? Are you understanding? It's like, we know, like, it's just so aggressive and like it comes off so unpleasant. Like 9 times out of 10, it's like, just calm down. Like, come on.
It's the thing about WWE doesn't know how to do nuance, and a lot of like the fans that we have a personal gripe with, the ones who kind of are just like on the surface and don't want to look deeper. They don't want that nuance. They just kind of want like that really in your face, just out there.
They want that like Attitude Era kind of, let's just try and be as offensive and edgy as is humanly possible. Yeah. Without really caring about the sort of subject or what it's possibly doing to people or how it's affecting people. It's like, it's that kind, it's that nostalgia thing, because I think that people look back at the Attitude Era and stuff and they're like, this was amazing, like nobody cared, it was all like unsensible. It's like, but was it though, or was it just gross? Like, because you look back and you've got stuff like the Lita, like the miscarriage angle, you've got the Katie Vick stuff. It's like, there's so much stuff that's like, yeah, it was like uncensored and like, you know, like edgy, but it also wasn't good or sensitive or pleasant to watch. And it's like, it doesn't have to be so far into that extreme of like being uncomfortable and horrible. Like, it shouldn't, watching wrestling shouldn't be an unpleasant experience in terms of, well, I mean, suppose it should, and I mean, if you're talking about death matches and shit, but like, in terms of storyline, don't get that uncomfortable. Oh, same. I don't know if either of you have watched this, but it's on the network. Get on it. It's one of my favorite matches ever. It's from ICW Fear and Loathing. It's their Queen of Insanity match with Piper Niven and Kaylee Ray. Oh, it's like a proper brute. So ICW do a King of Insanity match. This was their first women's one. It's like it's like thumbtacks, ladders, like trash cans. Kaylee comes out with a pink cheese grater at some point, and Scottish commentators are allowed to swear, which is great. So there's this point where one of the commentators is just like, where the actual fuck do you get a pink cheese grater from? Where the fuck did you get that? Like, it was so good. It's on the network. Go and watch it. It's one of my absolute favorite, like, brutal matches. It's just, oh, it's amazing. Just while we're on that, like, I tell everyone to go and watch that fucking match because it's really good. Like,
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that now segues into my next topic. And this would definitely rub some people the wrong way on TikTok, but now I don't have 15 or 60 seconds to discuss it. I got time. This fucking hoax that WWE
Yes!
is passing off as a women's revolution.
Thank you.
Yes.
Maybe they'll listen to you because you're the guy talking about wrestling.
Yeah,
and not
so
the
we're just
two
gonna
women.
sit here. We're gonna sit here and look pretty, and you're gonna do all the talking because people will listen to you.
I feel like as women, you guys definitely have your stake on this. My
Yeah.
podcast, I don't want to say my podcast is a safe space, but some pretty like-minded individuals listen to this. But
Yeah.
I would like to throw this out here in case, you guys watching do not have me on the watching, listening, whatever you're doing. If you guys don't have me on TikTok, I released a TikTok last week where actually I piggybacked off of a TikTok posted by Vaughn where I basically posted this joke of a women's revolution that WWE is trying to sell us on. First of all, we need to stop praising Vince for finally coming around the corner because we all know that was more Stephanie than anyone.
Yep.
It's definitely Stephanie.
It's completely Stephanie. And that's the other, the thing that really fucks me off about the Women's Evolution thing is how self-congratulatory it is, because it's like, you solved a problem of your own making and then gave yourself a fucking pat on the back for it.
And still didn't even solve it. You just said you did.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like literally throwing like plywood over a pothole.
Yeah. Totally. And it's very because my big thing for that, because we went through a kind of weird spell for the last couple of months where there was one women's match a week and stuff on an episode of SmackDown and stuff, which is shit.
It was 4 against 4s, and it was the
storylines are. I cannot think of a good women's storyline that is ongoing right now, because Sasha and Carmella, that can fuck off. I do not care. I'm so hard pushed to care about it. I mean, we're talking about the Women's Evolution. I'm immediately going to shit on a female wrestler. I am so hard pushed to give a shit about Carmella, but it's for a really strange reason. She looks a lot like a girl that bullied me in high school, so I'm scared of her.
That's fair.
It's not the fault of any of the female wrestlers. They're doing the best they can with what they're given.
It's the storylines
any of that.
Yeah, completely. It's the storylines have just been so unengaging, and it's very. My big gripe that I have as well is the Evolution pay-per-view. That could be an annual event. They have chosen to not make it an annual event. Because, I've said it before, I'll say it again. We don't need a whole pay-per-view of no DQ matches. We do not need a whole pay-per-view of TLC matches. You can do more
of TLC matches with only one real TLC match. It's insane.
I hate ladder matches as well. So that's it's one of the. It's just we don't need it. Replace the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. That one's
that's gonna get you some hate.
Pointless.
That is gonna brace yourself. You're gonna get hate for that one.
Now, but here's my take on it. I don't want to say that the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view needs to be replaced, but maybe have more than 2 Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah.
If you're gonna call your pay-per-view Hell in a Cell.
See, my problem that I have with the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is that I think it sucks quite a bit of the meaning out of that match type. Because, think about it. Functionally, Hell in a Cell is a giant-ass big box. I didn't say cocks there. That was bad. Giant-ass box where feuds go to end. That's it. That's the whole... So, in order to have the pay-per-view make sense, you have to have a good 3 or 4 feuds running where the collision point is going to be then, which is putting too much faith in WWE to be able to do long-term booking, which they cannot do. And then, I think it's better if you have them sporadically as blow-off matches for stuff where they make sense. Because having to have everything come to a head all at once, especially in, the end of the year, which is such a sort of dry spell for storylines, because we're too far past SummerSlam, we're not quite close enough to the Rumble and Mania, where it's just a bit meh. So, I think I would almost like it if it was at a different point in the year, but it's just... I prefer the way they used to do it, where they just have a cell match where a cell match has made sense and then not use it as a pay-per-view type. I love cell matches. I just don't think it warrants its own pay-per-view. That's my take here. So
my gripe about the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view is that for the last few years, there haven't been any super memorable Hell in a Cell matches.
Yeah. I think the closest we've got is Sasha and Bailey. That was like brilliant. I really loved that match.
I will say,
I had to think about it. I was like,
from a storytelling aspect,
yeah,
Roman and Jey Uso probably have one of the greatest Hell in a Cell matches of all time from a story standpoint.
Yeah, but like, I couldn't tell you a single thing that actually happened in the match. I just know that story-wise it was significant. Like I think there was straps involved at some point. Roman had his little Thanos glove on. Like that was.
And then Roman had like a mental breakdown in the middle of the match, which was.
Oh yeah, and he like started crying. I remember that.
Character work. It's so good.
See, I was like, I don't know. That's like it was good, and then we had fucking Drew like falling off the cell of his own volition for some reason, and then Randy got the title for 5 minutes. It was like this is weird. I was unreasonably upset by that actually, because Drew McIntyre, as we've previously addressed, is my dad. He's not really my dad, but he's my dad. And
if I
like
said that, it would be a whole different context, but yeah.
No, I just like it's not even
you got it.
Yeah. I'm forgetting how to speak English again. I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. But yeah, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, because then you get absolute fucking honkers like The Fiend and Seth Rollins, which we covered in the last video. It's like giant comedy mallet, fine. Small mallet, illegal. Match over. Like, it's like, I'm sorry, but like the level of shit that people have been through in cell matches for it to end in a DQ because of a weapon is stupid.
It happens a lot with Seth matches in particular, I think, where like they just don't know how to kind of end them, so it always kind of ends in a weird, bizarre DQ for inexplicable reasons.
Yeah, and it's also like that's the issue that they have with The Fiend is like they can't have him lose stuff because that makes him look stupid, as was proved by Goldberg. And then like,
oh god, we can't talk about things like that.
Oh yeah, oh no. Oh, I forgot. Oh shit, I forgot about it. I think I was on the toilet when that happened, and I just didn't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
What the fuck is Retribution? Who did they upset? Why? What did they do to deserve that? Why does Slapjack's mask look like it was made out of sticky tape and a paper plate? Like,
hey, you leave Casey Jones alone.
Wrestling Casey Jones, I love that.
Huh. I'm sorry,
that's my perfect type.
Yeah.
If anyone asks, like wrestling Casey Jones, yeah, obviously. I can see what they were trying to do with Retribution, but like a lot of things, like I can see the creative aspect of it, but WWE has that hard kind of like they can't commit to creative things per se.
Yeah.
Something about it, it just like they take all the creative things out of creative stuff and then just kind of they just miss the mark.
Yeah, it's like they have a good idea and then don't bother doing anything else with it. They kind of just run with it and then it goes to shit and then that's it.
Yeah.
So,
case in point, Mia Yim's mask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Mia Yim.
Oh, sweetie. I think I've heard that Mia Yim's left, which makes me happy because
really,
and because I'd seen a lot of like sort of clickbaity stuff about like Retribution group members, blah, 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 and then like all of her social media is back to being Mia Yim, and all of her profile pictures are back to normal. So I think she's jumped ship.
Wait for everyone to be like AEW time. You know what's gonna happen.
Well, no, I think she's still in WWE. I think she just said she wants out of Retribution. Like that's because Mercedes Martinez did the same thing. So because she was in it for a hot second and then left because she basically just thought it was shit and like
she honestly deserves better
because. Apparently, the big reason behind having Mia Yim in Retribution was because they didn't because obviously if they've got couples that are both in WWE, because the Performance Center has had their odd relationship with COVID, they're like, if we can keep both of them in the one place, that's like the ideal, which is why she got brought onto the main roster because Keith was there. So like they wanted to kind of keep them together just so that they weren't, cross-contaminating shit apparently, but even then it's like you didn't need to do that to her. You could have just brought her up. It would have been cool, like because Mia Yim's legitimately one of like the best female wrestlers like alive currently, and the fact that this is the shit that I have to say, out of everyone, she had the most legit case for like being in that group and yet got the least out of it because she like fans lobbied so hard for her to get brought into WWE after the Mae Young Classic, and then they got her in and did nothing with her, and it's like, yeah, you do deserve better, but this isn't the way of going about it because you look like a dumbass now. Like that's
Right. Which brings me back to the whole women's revolution thing.
Yeah.
And don't worry, we're going to talk about not only WWE, but AEW as well. Because I know a lot of people right now are going to be like, you're only shitting on WWE. We got problems with the other company.
I'm gonna throw it out here, and I don't care what anybody, as I have a term, argue with your ancestors. Impact Wrestling is the only current wrestling promotion doing their women's division right. And it always has.
In North America.
Yeah.
In North America.
Impact have been one of the only people that have known how to do women correctly.
They've always done it. And everybody's like, oh, it's a women's revolution. It's like, how?
No.
Impact Wrestling had a Knockouts tag team title.
Yeah.
And legitimate women's tag team.
Like there's so much stuff that like WWE tried to do the Impact have done better recently that just is like
Matt Hardy, for example.
My big one was this is going to be a bit strange. I have a very odd adoration for this. So the angle they did with Mandy and Sonya, right? Mandy is like a pure imitation of the Beautiful People. Like, I think she had so much potential. Like, Mandy Rose is a heel, and I am dying on this fucking hill. Like, she was not the fucking face in that feud. It was Sonya. Don't even start me on this because I'll just go for hours. But like, Mandy could, like, I think that was what they were maybe going for, was that kind of character, and they just fucked it. Like, like I fucking love the Beautiful People. They're one of my like favorite parts about Impact, just because it's so like they're done so well, and it's like I hate you so much, and I love it.
I've been an ODB fan since high school. I adore ODB so much. Actually, she kind of reminds me of a girl that I used to date, but I'll get into that. I'll get into that some other time.
And then obviously, like Impact had Awesome Kong as well for ages, and she's fucking brilliant. Like part of me really wishes that she'd been able to stay in WWE, and part of me is really glad that she didn't. Like that, because WWE have got a very, very bad track record with knowing how to do like monster women, and like she has done so much that is like better than that, but also like she's said before that that's something that she wanted, was to get to that point, and the reason that she had to leave is fucking horrible, and it's just it's just so upsetting, and it's like it's just she's just another one of these kind of what could have been type people, and it's like
Exactly. And then it's like everybody's like, oh, well, WWE has finally turned the corner on women's wrestling. And it's like, it's because someone finally convinced Vince McMahon that women can, in fact, wrestle. Because he didn't. And then and then he would sing the praises of when he says great women's wrestlers, which it's not a knock on any of them. WWE did have its fair share of actual women wrestlers. Like Casey, I felt so terrible for Trish Stratus because it was clear that like she was the only actual wrestler in that like bunch, and her and Lita put on like classic matches.
Oh, phenomenal!
But then for every Trish Stratus and Lita, there was a Candice Michelle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Christy Hemme.
Diva Search.
Oh god, the Diva Search.
Literally, that's a big thing that's always really bothered me, is that it really, really shows the disparity in how kind of seriously women's wrestling was taken relative to men's. Because I don't think I could tell you a single man that was hired out of an underwear catalog, or that was like hired with no prior experience, or like was just picked up on the basis of them being hot. It's like, it's just not a thing that happens. It really kind of showed their intent with their women's division for quite a while, was just
Doggo.
He wanted to show up.
I love him so much. He's the best.
Sorry about this, girl.
Do not dare apologize for this. He's excellent.
No, not at all. My listeners have come to expect the unexpected at this point.
Yeah.
My co-host.
He's excellent. I love him. yeah, like the whole diva search thing's always really rubbed me up the wrong way, because it's like it really shows what you're prioritizing with your women, and that is them being attractive more so
You want to
than
be a
being
wrestler?
talented.
You want to be a wrestler? Let's see what you look like in a bikini.
Yep.
That's pretty much what that was.
And then, speaking of bikinis, I looked into the statistic last night. One of my biggest gripes with women's wrestling until quite recently was obviously the kind of women's gimmick matches that you get, you know, kind of evening gown, the mud fight, and like bikini contests and blah blah blah.
Panties.
Yeah, the last there were over 73 bra and panties matches took place in WWE on the course of 10 years when they were a thing. The last one was in 2005.
Jeez.
Sheesh. One thing though,
I remember that being a thing in the video games too. I'm like, why are we letting that match be in the video game?
But one thing that I thought was funny is that I believe it was one of the earlier SmackDown games that men could participate in bra and panties matches.
I vaguely remember that.
Yeah,
and I thought that was hysterical.
That's great. Like, it's just, and here's it, talking about kind of aesthetic stuff with women. I think, and this is something that people have gotten mad at me for, I think it's still disproportionately easier for women to get over if they're hot, basically. Like, that's, or if they're like conventionally attractive. And then here's my thing. I don't know how many people are going to agree with me on this, but one thing that always really gets up my ass is Luna Vachon, because she was fantastic. I really, really loved her. And I think she could have reached similar or the same heights as people like Chyna and didn't, because she looked a bit weird and was harder to sell as a sex symbol compared to Chyna, and that's why she didn't get to that point. And she's one of a fucking legion of people that have left WWE because she didn't like how the women were treated, alongside people like Sable and like Beth Phoenix. And it's like,
right,
when this is a thing that's happening where you've got talent that are like leaving and suing you for sexual harassment on the way out the door, you're doing this wrong.
Now, the odd thing for me is that, you know, I was watching wrestling through all of that era, and Chyna only got recognized as a sex symbol much later in her career, because I remember her getting shit from both men and women.
Oh yeah,
for looking too masculine. Because
she got a shit ton of plastic surgery, which is like it's upsetting that she even felt like she needed that. It's like, and it's just it's so bizarre. Like, there's just so many things that, and even people like talk about like Lita and like Trish Stratus, the stuff that they were involved in that was disgusting is like insane. Like, all of them have been through some weird thing where it's like, why was this necessary? Like the miscarriage angle and like Trish getting made to bark like a dog and stuff. It's like, what was the and then the whole thing about Natalya having really smelly farts for ages, that being a story point that we needed to know about. That's part of the reason that Beth Phoenix left, was because she was so mad that it was a thing that happened. Like, it's just,
and like, once again, we're not blaming any of the women wrestlers, and like we're not slut shaming, and we're not saying that like being sexual, it's like, or having hypersexuality is a bad thing. Like, we have Scarlett Bordeaux, and that's like her whole thing, and we love that and stuff like that. But like, it's when the WWE and like other companies try to like basically mishandle their women and kind of just sexually abuse them and exploit them.
Absolutely. Like, it feels very exploitative. That's kind of the issue, where it's like characters were like Scarlett that you mentioned, where that's their whole thing. That's great. There's almost like a noted difference in like when it's a character thing and when it's a fan service thing. And that's like, it's completely not a fault of the wrestlers themselves. It's a problem of like the high ups that made it happen, and of the fan culture surrounding it, where that's how, you know, that's what I'm forgetting how to talk. Can someone please take over from me, because I'm just kind of gone bleh and then forgot how to speak English.
I personally I'm not surprised, because this is all in a company where a guy booked himself in a match against his own daughter.
And choked her out with a lead pipe. That's...
after proceeding to beat on her for like 20 minutes.
It's just mental. Excuse me, I've got hiccups now. That's fantastic. It's just like the way that, like, because I made this point in a video. It was one of my No Nuance November videos where it was basically my exact words pretty much where until quite recently the vast majority of women's wrestling was fan service for male fans, and that's the reason that I think that a lot of women don't have quite the same sort of rose-tinted glasses about the Attitude Era and about the Ruthless Aggression Era, because that's how we were being portrayed, and it felt like it wasn't for us to be watching kind of thing. It's like, no, this is for men. It felt very made for men, and it's like, even as far back as like, while it wasn't like overtly awful, like I've said before, the Divas title, like the Divas title belt put me off watching wrestling when I was a kid, because I was like,
Oh, you could tell that was created by a dude.
it's like, it doesn't need to be pink and sparkly and shaped like a butterfly. Why? Like, what was the need?
That's a huge gripe I have with a lot of like things like merchandise or like creative things in general. Like you can tell that a lot of like women's like merch and stuff were definitely created by men, because in no way were we like, yeah, we want the hot pink fuchsia t-shirt with like the really ugly logo for like a female wrestler. Like,
no,
who designed that?
It's like, as much as I absolutely adore Alexa Bliss, so much of her merch is hideous. Like the little like chibi things. Who's wearing that? Like, can I not just have a cool logo on a t-shirt like men get? Like,
it's all like knockoff Harley Quinn Hot Topic stuff, because they think that's like
very that. Mm-hmm.
That's because the same wrestling fanboys who, you know, the same wrestling fanboys who enjoy that are the same ones who fapped to Margot Robbie literally breathing. So
yeah,
and it's not a knock.
Harley relationship goals.
Yeah, and it. Oh my god.
Oh no.
And it's not a knock. It's not a knock on Margot Robbie, because he absolutely kills it as Harley.
Oh yeah,
amazing.
She's brilliant. Yeah.
It just everybody's just.
It's just. Oh god!
Like, oh god! If you go on the Pro Wrestling Tees website, like a majority of those designs are just,
nah.
And WWE are not the only ones guilty of this, because how dare you, AEW? How dare you sign some of the most talented women on earth and fucking force feed us Serena Deeb every week? How dare you, Cody? First of all, you signed Nyla Rose, who is the best women's wrestler on earth.
I would kill and die for Nyla. I've said that about so many people, but that's the thing, is like I've said before, and I'm not backing down on this, Nyla has got to be like one of the, if not the most important figure in women in wrestling period in the 21st century. Like we fucking needed her. Like she's
absolutely
fantastic. Like,
and her status on AEW would reflect anything but that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nothing against Riho, because I love Riho.
Yeah.
But like that was the centerpiece of your women's division. You touted it. Same thing when you signed Sunny Kiss, which was also huge. Like you touted those. It's like, we have Nyla Rose. We have the first transgender woman in a major.
Yeah.
And I'm like, good. But do something with that.
Yeah, because here's the thing as well, is that something that always really bothers me about the way that, and this is not an issue that AEW I think have specifically, because they have been as good about her being trans as they physically could be.
Yeah.
But the way that a lot of fans and a lot of other wrestlers have approached her makes me feel physically ill.
Yes.
So that's like Val Venus I would fist fight that man on fucking
I'm gonna leave. Just gonna
no,
leave.
I just can't take it's disgusting. And like I had watched, like I can't remember what YouTube channel it was, but I'd seen that someone had reviewed the match where she won the title, and the way that they were talking about her is just disgusting. And it's like
trash.
Yeah, it's just horrific. Like I don't hold on. My iPad is refusing to charge, and I wish it would not do that, because I'm on 16%. This could be a problem. It's fine. But like, yeah, the way that she's like dealt with is just horrendous. Like that's because I'm just gonna throw it out there. So I've talked before. My girlfriend, who is a retired wrestler, right? she also happens to be trans and wrestled before she came out. And like that's the one thing that has always been a big kind of, she's like, I want to go back to it, and I would ideally want to go back to it as myself, but the way that she's been, the treatment that Nyla has kind of received and stuff, she's like, I don't know that I could, because if that's how someone at that level is being dealt with, how the fuck is it going to go down in like the indies? Like that's
right. And
it's just it's scary that so many people have that kind of perception of people and feel so comfortable talking about and dehumanizing trans people in that way, and for the most part it goes kind of unchallenged. It's like,
right.
It's
and while I am still currently annoyed with him, I do commend Jericho, because like one of the first things he did after Nyla was signed was have her come on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he gave her the platform to speak about it.
That was amazing. Like, I love that podcast. And it's very like, I like the fact that whenever she's kind of interviewed, it's not talked about unless she brings it up, which I really appreciate. It's like, it's so tactful and like well done. And like, it's just really, really lovely. Like, I love her so much. Like, again, like as both a wrestler and as someone that just generally her existence means a lot to me. It's like, it's
and again, like I said, and it's one of those things, and people are going to disagree with me. Again, argue with your ancestors. Nyla Rose is the best women's wrestler on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people are going to hear it and make their stupid transphobic jokes. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Whatever. Go to hell. My statement stands.
Sincerely. Yeah. And here's the thing that I see chucked about quite a lot when talking about her is this whole blah, 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 natural advantage over women.
So
fuck that. My counterpoint to this 110% is the mere existence of Nia Jax. Because Nia Jax is like half a foot taller than Nyla, for one thing. She's about 100 pounds heavier than her. And to the extent of my knowledge, Nyla Rose has never nearly accidentally killed the same person twice in the space of 2 weeks. So...
But my thing is, okay, if Nyla Rose has a quote-unquote natural advantage, Paige and AJ could wrestle circles around most of the men in WWE. What's their excuse for them?
Yep. Like, it really doesn't hold water, especially in wrestling, because it's all, because it's obviously, it's predetermined and shit. Yeah. Like, and it's, like, not saying that wrestling's fake, don't hurt me, but, like,
canceled.
It's not...
Cancel her. We can wrap it up, guys.
That's it. You're done. You're done.
It's over. I'm the new co-host.
Trying to get myself entirely out of frame. Oh, there's fucking dinosaur pajamas. Yeah, it's like there's literally no such thing, especially in a predetermined, rehearsed sport. Like,
there's a weird level of that, like, suspension of disbelief that wrestling fans want to have and also don't want to have.
Yeah, it's like nobody has any natural advantage in a sport where the outcome is decided going into the thing. Like,
yep.
It's just, it's insane. I think we were doing a different AEW tangent and then got stuck on this, and it's like...
Oh, yeah. And then just to piggyback off what Jay said earlier, as much as I hate Cody, I can't necessarily put all of it on him because supposedly, I don't know if it's still happening now, but supposedly Kenny is actually the EVP in charge of the women's division because he has that connection to Japan and like Joshi wrestling.
I can see that.
Which is why they were so excited to say like we have Japanese women like Riho and like poor Shida. Everyone's like she's gonna get like a back injury soon for just carrying that division.
She's brilliant. Like I have to like I'm just gonna jump on this now though. Fuck, what's her name? Scary zombie lady from AEW. Help me.
Abyss. No,
that's the one. No,
this is the guy. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna get thrown
the dead one. The only thing my brain's giving me Su Young, and I know that that's not it. That's a completely different person.
Su Young.
I love Su Young.
I love Su Young.
From Impact?
We had...
Dude, I really want her to have
the other one. There's another undead...
Rosemary.
No, it's not her either.
No, the other
No,
one,
no,
the
yeah.
new one in AEW.
Yeah, the other undead zombie.
Oh, in
it's like
AEW.
when
I don't know why we're
fucking
blanking
Hikaru
on this.
Shida's getting like Hikaru
Ugh.
Shida was getting interviewed backstage, and she said something like, "She's not actually a
Abaddon.
zombie." That's the fucker. That's
Abaddon.
where she's like, she's not really a zombie. She's just doing zombie cosplay. I do cosplay sometimes, and it was
Love
like, it's so funny. But it's like, I think it was on like the Cultaholic WTF moment. Someone made the observation. It's like, if when the Undertaker had come out at Survivor Series and Rowdy Roddy Piper had gone, oh look at that giant man, he's got fucking stupid face paint on. That's not a real dead guy. That's just a man in face paint. It would have completely killed the illusion. So why did she get to say that? Like, so funny. Like, oh.
I will
There
say
is a bit of a tongue in cheek with AEW that I think
It was.
WWE
I really like. I was so funny, but also so mental. It's like, yeah, pack it up. Kayfabe's dead.
I dare say.
Get the fire.
I dare
out the
say
door,
that
I'm
the
out.
AEW women's division is suffering without Chris Statlander.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't wait for her to come back.
I
I
love
love
Chris
Chris
Statlander.
Statlander. She's so cool. I love her. Like, there's but again, no, fucking the whole thing with Serena Deeb though. I didn't even realize she was an actual wrestler. I just thought she was the bald chick from Straight Edge Society. Like that's
Nope, she was an actual wrestler,
yeah.
and that's
But it's
another
like,
thing. Like,
think about it. But this is my one really odd gripe that I have with her. It's like, you're a wrestler. You can change your name or whatever the fuck you want. Why is your surname still Deeb? Like
that she uses her real name.
it just sounds like a noise though. Like come up with something cooler.
Deep, deep.
It's like.
You poke someone on the nose. Deep.
So you can make your
Watch
name
out, man.
anything.
BT easy to steal all our gimmicks now. Just
Yeah,
watch.
it's like you can make your name anything you want, literally anything. Call yourself whatever. Nah, I'm gonna say what I got. This is fine. I like this. It's like, yeah. And this
I
is
mean, more to her.
this
honestly.
is coming from someone who also has a stupid surname though. So like, there you go. That's fine. Like.
I can't say anything. It's Perez. It's about as nondescript Latino as I'm ever gonna get.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said anyway, like I was gonna talk about something and then I have nothing to talk about because my brain fell out at some point apparently. It's like
Well, hopefully, I mean, in regards to AEW, like
Mhm.
I feel like there is potential for, especially like the women's division and everything, to kind of like be brought up a little bit more, just because of like the Impact possible crossover that the wrestling world's losing their mind over right now. So like, hopefully, maybe they can take some, I don't know, some notes or something from them. But I've also seen other people be like, oh well, we don't want them to touch like Impact, like we don't want that. It's like, well, hopefully there could be a little bit of like some kind
overlap,
of like yeah.
Because there's so many people in Impact that are just like brilliant, and I'm like, I like Impact women do it is still one of my, because like you've got people like Taya Valkyrie who I love, like fucking Havoc is amazing. I fucking love Havoc. She's so cool.
I love Su Yung so much.
And then like Su Yung is brilliant. I absolutely adore her. Like
Flash
it's
Susie. Fucking genius.
Here's the thing, right?
I adore Rosemary.
Yeah.
So good.
Me and my girlfriend wanted to do a wrestling Halloween costume this year, like a joint thing, when we were still naively under the assumption that we were going to get to go outside for Halloween. And what we settled on doing Sister Abigail and the Fiend, and then that didn't even happen because we couldn't go out. But what we were initially going to do was one of us was going to be Susie and one of us was going to be Su Yung.
Oh, that would have been so good.
That's amazing.
But she shotgunned Su Yung, and I, as a matter of principle, don't wear pink. So it kind of got shut down. Like that's
such a good idea. And my dog's there again.
Hey, he's singing us a song with his people. It's very important. He's contributing to the conversation.
Big dog. Nope, there he is.
Yep.
He's got a lot to say.
He does.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's just this whole women's thing. I hate that WWE is getting credit for things that other promotions have
been doing for ages.
Like
that's
years.
Forever.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna say, oh, WWE started the women's revolution. Like first of all, first of all, bitch, Gail Kim carried the entire division on her back.
God.
I fucking cannot. Like, poor Gail Kim. Like, like at least like Impact, like she got the respect she deserved there. Like
Same.
multiple time champion, but fucking her runs in WWE, she won the title on her debut and then just did nothing. They
Nothing
did
after
nothing with
that.
her.
Yeah.
So much
It's
so to a
just-
point she eliminated herself from a battle.
Or
Yeah.
not twice, but yeah, Battle Royale. And then she went into the company, came back, left twice because they
Yeah.
just were not doing anything with her.
It's
'Cause
so bizarre.
JR had to tell Vince that Asian porn existed. That's fucking disgusting.
That's horrific. Like, sorry, I'm gonna go and mess with my charger for a second to see if I can make it work. I'll be 2 seconds.
I will shit on everything.
It's
I really
it's
do
such
think
good
that
shit.
it's fucking Vince. Like I really do think that like WWE and AEW could possibly learn to at least have more to do with their women if they incorporated intergender. But I know that like Vince and like Tony Khan have specifically said like they don't get it, that because they don't get it that they're not really going to do it, which is frustrating because it's so potential.
Like my thing is, Vince McMahon doesn't get into gender wrestling, but we've had 2 mixed match challenges.
Yeah.
We have, but at the same time, it's like they try to kind of tease the intergender, but it's still like, well,
It's still
the men have to wrestle the men and the women have to wrestle the women, and maybe like a smidge of like, oh, is that going to happen?
yeah, but if you like hit a woman, you get disqualified, and like
To Vince and to Tony especially, I say this: look, man, the Jaguars aren't doing anything this year. You've got time. Turn on an episode of Impact, any episode of Impact from last year.
That's why I'm crossing my fingers that maybe they'll learn something from Impact.
Like
It's kind of bullshit that it's like because Tony doesn't like it, that it's like a personal preference that it's not going to happen.
Like you got to, like Tony, you got time. Grab Gardner Minshew and the rest of your roster. Go watch Tessa Blanchard's run as Impact champion to see how the fuck intergender wrestling should be done.
Yeah,
It's not that hard.
Talking about intergender stuff, the other like, I don't even know if you can technically say company, but the other thing that I really enjoyed Next Gender Wrestling, Lucha Underground did it really well.
Oh, so good.
I really enjoyed that.
Lucha Underground did everything well.
I will sing Taya Valkyrie's praise until the day that I die, but her run in Lucha Underground was fucking fantastic. Like, she was so good. That's also did not realize that she was married to John Morrison until quite recently, and that makes me very happy. Like, if they do not have children, they need to get on it because their kids are going to be fucking beautiful. Like, that's.
I agree.
John Mox is one of the few men that I go straight for. Not John Moxley. And probably him too, but John Morrison I would go straight for. Like, he's a lovely man. Like, that's.
Oh, no. We can't do this now because it won't end.
Yeah, it's just
will not
forever.
end.
It's gonna be your life. And my iPad's charging. Fucking excellent.
Hey.
It was like, if I die halfway through this, I'm gonna cry.
That's another thing. How the fuck in 15 years has The Miz only had 1 title reign?
I don't know.
1.
Yeah,
Why
I
do
feel
they
like
hate the Miz?
it's weird. Well, because it's mid card, I think.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
kind of like
I've
a
seen
staple
him
to the mid card.
I've seen him like described as like the king of the pre-show. He's apparently had more pre-show matches than any other WWE superstar ever.
But that's
which
not
is impressive.
Which, I mean, it's impressive, but it's also not fair. He deserves.
I know.
The man has been gold on the mic from day one.
And
so
he
fucking funny.
Carries
Like
all of that.
yeah,
Not to mention, he's never, and I think he has never missed time due to injury.
Yeah.
He has not suffered any major injuries once in his entire wrestling career.
That's quite impressive. Like, Jesus. Yeah, no, he's brilliant. Like, I really, really enjoy The Miz. I really love Miz and Morrison. Like, they're so underrated. Like, WWE have got a major thing against comedy performers that are good. Because they try and make stuff a thing with people that are funny but not really. And it's like, but then you get someone like people like them that are actually genuinely incredibly funny and charismatic and enjoyable, and it's like, nah. Like,
yeah, that's a pass.
Yeah. There's one thing I will say that I've been enjoying about the one thing that I've been enjoying about how much spotlight Drew McIntyre's getting is he's fucking funny. Like, I love that. makes me very happy. I love that man, honestly.
It's cool that he gets to like actually show like his personality.
Oh,
now,
yeah,
as
like,
opposed to, like
completely.
early Drew McIntyre.
Because he's just great. Like, honestly, I think that I wish that you could comprehend being on Scottish wrestling Twitter the night that Nikki Cross and Drew McIntyre both won titles in the same night at Mania. Like, that was beautiful. Like, we're not a country that gets massively excited about things very often. That was one of them. Like,
Right.
It was so good. Because we get nothing in, like, kind of, like, the world scene. Like, we're shit at most sports. Like, we don't even get our own team at the fucking Olympics. Like, we don't get much in the sport zone. So, like, the fact that happened was really, really exciting. And also just Drew's brilliant and I love him. So, like...
Very true.
It's great. Like...
But, yeah, I mean, this has been one. Also, for you guys watching or listening at home or whatever you're doing, you can feel free to follow all of us on all of our socials.
I can't even remember what mine are right now, so I can't.
Yeah.
So you can find. I'm gonna post links in the
Okay, I was like, I
description
can't
and
remember
whatnot.
mine.
Brilliant.
How is this?
Vaughn, you can find on TikTok at Desu Star, where she does all of her hilarious wrestling reaction videos.
Oh God, I forgot I was doing those.
And Slay
So good,
does
though.
all of her awesome drag work, which you can find on TikTok or Instagram at Slay Guevara, of course. The one TikTok, Vaughn, I think you posted that I had to follow you immediately. Was okay, so she did this awesome thing about Mick Foley in the 98 Royal Rumble, which was this.
Oh God.
Wait, which one was this? I don't know if I've seen this.
Where
Those
she,
don't be suspicious, Mick Foley at the Rumble.
it's because Slay, Foley got to enter the Royal Rumble
Yes.
3 times
Yeah,
in
yeah.
'98. So it's basically Vaughn playing the sound of "Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious." So it's her.
That's
entering
amazing.
as
Oh.
each one of Mick's.
I put a belt on my head, and I also carried a garbage can because I wanted to be accurate, but also just really not accurate.
The one that really got me was the Montreal Screwjob one. That was like, what happened? What the fuck happened?
My brain is like somehow broken when it comes to memes because when I hear a meme, or especially on TikTok ones, I'm like, oh, that reminds me of a wrestling thing. And then like
I do
it
that
kind
as
of started off as a
well.
joke. And I was like, oh, people kind of liked it. Like, oh God, I'm gonna have to keep on
I've done
doing
that a
this
few.
now.
Like,
She
my
also
fa-
did. Oh, sorry.
no, on you go.
Nah, you're good.
No, one of my favorite ones that I did with like the putting sounds on wrestling is. Have you guys ever watched Summer Heights High? Right.
Yeah.
So you know the bit where it's like the drama teacher and he's written the musical about the girl that died of an ecstasy overdose, and he goes, she was what the kids would call a slut, which is a terrible thing to say about someone who's just died, but apparently there's no denying she was one. And like I did that as like Triple H trying to explain why China should never get into the Hall of Fame.
Oh my God.
Like, yep.
Vaughn also does this really awesome 20-part series where she reacts to Scooby-Doo at WrestleMania.
Oh God, I forgot about that. And that
I need to
literally
get on.
happened, like 2 months
I
ago.
keep trying to get my girlfriend to let me watch the wrestling,
Oh.
the Scooby-Doo WWE stuff, and she won't let me because she thinks
I-
it's shit.
I-
But I
I
want to
found it
watch
at work and I was like, I'm gonna have to buy this now because TikTok told me to.
Okay, so for a while, I actually had a large majority of the like WWE movies.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Believe it or not, there are some gems among them.
Oh really?
There are. Have you ever seen The Call with Halle Berry?
I heard
No.
about I heard about this whole thing
That was a great fucking movie.
because it's a WWE production, right?
Yeah. I know.
Just that phrase.
So
It's
that's
just
one
so
of the girls in
funny.
the trunk and like she's like the 911 operator or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I vaguely like I remember.
And the
hearing
guy
something
friggin'
about-
like kidnaps the girl, so he's like she's on the phone with her like the entire time.
Yeah.
Like help track her. Great movie. There's another one. It was a horror movie.
Oh,
Oh
Oculus.
god.
There's one
Oculus
with,
was okay, but no, there's another one.
One of the
WWE
ones with
horror
Kane in it.
movie doesn't sound like they belong in the same sentence. Like
I'm
No
afraid
one-
like we're gonna have to react to these now. I feel like we're
No-
at
Oh,
some
God,
point we're
yes.
gonna do this.
We,
That
you know what?
sounds
I think we
amazing.
should. We should do a
We
live
should.
react.
I
No,
No
would
One
do it.
Lives. That's the one.
Mm.
No one lives.
It's like one that I'd heard about was like I've not seen it yet, but like I don't say yet as though I plan to watch it.
We
But
are. We're saying
There
it.
was
We're
like
bringing this out here.
it was so basically it was like a YouTube channel where they like the punishment for like the person who'd like failed their WrestleMania predictions. I can't remember what the film's called, but it's the one where like Triple H plays the main character, and it's like
Oh my god, the
notoriously-
chaperone.
That's the one.
That's
As
the
a
one.
punishment,
Yeah.
This guy had to watch this movie,
Oh.
and that was this channel. I think it's like I can't remember. I think it's What Culture or Cultaholic. It's one of the two.
It's one of those
Right.
two.
There was another one where they had this. It's the same guy that went through having to watch The Chaperone, had to sit in a room with Matt Hardy laughing, playing on a loop for 10
no.
hours. 10 hours.
Oh no.
That's fucking brilliant.
I mean, like, also while we're on Matt Hardy, my Seth Rollins hair died a while ago, and now we're.
I
this is where
noticed
we are.
that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
For consolation, my Cedric Alexander hair is back in effect.
Excellent.
I don't have anything.
Love
I just
it.
redyed my hair.
But,
I don't think your hair's been the same color
Not
twice
my hair.
in the time
Yeah.
that I've like been paying attention to you on like online. No,
I get
basically,
bored easily.
I accidentally dyed my Seth Rollins bit blue because I was trying to tone it. It came out blue, so like I had to do like a hard reset. Like, okay, put
Oh.
red on it and maybe it'll look okay.
Gotta color correct it.
But
Yeah.
I actually quite like it, so I'm like, yeah, I'm sticking with this. It's a vibe, and I can't because I've got no idea what the fuck Matt Hardy's accent is meant to be. I can't do it, so it's like
Good
English,
question.
African, little bit like something weird going on there. That's
Because then it's supposed to be North Carolina or
is it?
something, but I don't know.
Is it really?
My dear Slay, your condition has
No.
confused you
I'm out.
on what my dialect is supposed to be.
You're
I'm
just a
out.
fucking impression machine.
Yeah, I was gonna say
is
this is
brilliant.
just the show now.
Ah,
This was-
Vaughn, I knew you'd come.
Tell you the one that really got me was when you sent me you doing the nudie intro. I had my phone at full volume while I was trying to do the dishes, and I hit play, and it was just like kitchen explodes. Like my girlfriend comes through and she's like, "Why the fuck is Biggie in the kitchen? Like, where did that come from? How did this happen?" Like, it's so funny.
You should make a whole new TikTok just impressions.
Yeah.
I'll have to.
I owe several people a Vicky Guerrero apparently, but I don't think I can get nasally enough. Like that's because it's a running joke that I'm someone's Vicky Guerrero. So like I need to do the excuse me at some point, but I just can't bring myself to. Like it makes me feel
gosh.
ill.
But I used to be able to do. I could do broken Matt Hardy. I used to be able to do Willow.
Oh my god,
used
that's
to-
a fucking pipe
Oh my
dream. I forget that Willow
gosh.
existed.
What I can't think of it. What's the one he goes, the ladder match. I'm so close. Rockstar Spuds appears and inflicts some crash and burn.
Oh god, that veers a bit into like Jamaican. Like that's bizarre.
It does. It's very odd. It's like Kofi Kingston and like Paul
Aw.
Bearer
I
had a
miss it.
child.
I was away to say I feel like you could probably do a good Paul Bearer. Like
Okay.
that's
I can't, but I know someone who does.
all right.
Speaking of Kofi, one of my favorite moments, and I think it's so underrated, is the first time Kofi speaks without his Jamaican accent.
Oh yeah, when Triple H called him out.
Yeah, he goes, "Wait a minute,
Good.
aren't you supposed to be Jamaican?"
And it's like the pause and everyone's reacting. Kofi's just like, so good. My other
Oh.
favorite Kofi moments, kind of like similar to that, is when the New Day made a time machine and they went too far back and it was like, no, it's 2009, it's my best era. Like,
Oh my god, yeah, ECW.
so good. He's like, all right.
But apparently,
And
that
like the
came-
crowd was dead. But I'm like, no, that's a fucking funny joke. Like,
Yeah. Apparently, that came from Vince McMahon actually thinking Kofi Kingston was Jamaican,
oh God.
Fuck off.
and like
And
apparently,
we arrive back at Vince McMahon as an incredibly
Yeah.
out of touch lizard that doesn't
And-
understand the world. Like
and apparently Kofi's family was like really, really upset with him.
Oh.
understandably
Oh, no.
so.
Because they were like, "Are you like ashamed of your heritage,
Oh
and
wait,
he
shit,
was
with
like,
Kofi. Oh, I misunderstood that. I thought you meant upset with
Oh,
Vince, and I was like,
no.
yeah,
no,
that's fair.
Kofi's family
Oh,
was like
no,
upset with him
honey.
because
Oh,
they thought that he
no.
was like ashamed of his heritage, and he was like, guys,
Sad.
it's just a character on TV.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Yeah,
really
so it went
sad.
this whole thing with Vince, and finally Vince was like, "Oh, you're not Jamaican? Well, that's
Oh.
embarrassing."
Like, what planet does he live on? Like, I swear to God,
I think he
Like-
just heard the name Kofi and kind of just
that was it. Like,
Yeah.
he's just, there's so much stuff that it's just, like, I found this Twitter thread a while ago that's miles and miles and miles and miles and miles long. I retweeted it. That's just insane shit about Vince McMahon, and it's really funny. Like, that's...
He also originally thought that was it Zack Ryder and who was the guy he used to tag with? Shit. Kurt Hawkins.
Mm.
Apparently Vince thought they were brothers. So when they first made their WWE debut, they were the Major Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So it came to Vince's attention during a meeting that they weren't in fact brothers.
Oh my god.
And so Vince goes, "Well, why the fuck have we been booking them as brothers?" And everybody was like, well, you kind of told us to."
Yeah, it's like, he
Oh
just
my gosh.
does weird stuff and then seems to get mad at people for not correcting, even though who the fuck is going to try and correct that? Because
Yeah.
Absolutely.
it's terrifying.
Vince has
Like-
had his moments, though, throughout my life
Yeah.
where he has made me legitimately laugh.
Mhm.
Like when he played himself in Celebrity Deathmatch, which I thought was hysterical.
Yeah.
Because his character died and he was still okay with that. And he voiced himself.
Yeah. That's the other thing is the fact that Vince A wrote most of and B voiced himself in Camp WWE is like,
Oh, that was
I need to
amazing.
watch that. Every time I hear you guys talk about it, because like this is during the time I didn't
Camp-
have the network, so I'm
Okay.
like, I have to watch this.
I
Camp
rewatched
WWE
it.
is hysterical.
I was watching some of it like a couple of nights ago. My new favorite episode is the one where they have to, it's the whole thing. So they basically have to go in like a weekend survival camp with Sergeant Slaughter.
Oh god.
And like, and then like the Undertaker gets lost and makes friends with a squirrel and stops being a goth and decides he's gonna go and live in nature. Meanwhile, Vince McMahon is being a vindictive shit for some reason and has decided that he's gonna go and like fuck up the like kids' rooms just to like annoy them, and the Bella twins' bunk bed collapses on him and he gets stuck and is just there hallucinating for 3 days. And there's this whole thing where it's just so absurd, and like there's like this line in it where he says something like, oh I'm really thirsty. I should have like waited longer before I drank my own urine. Like that's it's like he wrote that himself and then voiced it. What the fuck?
One of my favorite moments, actually two of my favorite moments from that show actually both happened in the very first episode, and that's how I knew I was gonna love the show. Like when the one family gets there, and you hear Vince's voice like announcing all the different things that are on the campgrounds. So then the car goes to drive through like the entrance, and all of a sudden it just goes, "I'm not done talking, asshole!" It just
So
So then later on in the episode, Triple H is trying to like tell I guess he's trying to explain something to the kids. I forget what happens. So him and Stephanie have to tell the kids, and Triple H just goes, "Yeah, your parents are all dead." So the Bella twins are like freaking out, and the Undertaker goes, "My parents are dead? That's awesome."
no, one of my other favorite bits from it is when Triple H asks Vince if he can take Stephanie out on a date, and Vince insists that he goes out on a date with him first so that he can figure out whether or not he's a good match for his daughter, and then Triple H basically accidentally falls in love with Vince
Oh my god.
and then goes and like confesses his love to him in like a Chili's at an airport or something, and it's so bonkers. It's fucking great.
I should have thrown a spoiler alert before we got into this, but seriously, if you guys have not checked out Camp WWE, please do it. If you don't,
Given all the things you've told me, like I'm still
Yeah.
gonna be like,
And
what the
it's
fuck
also
happened?
like all of the like wrestlers are obviously like 8-year-old kids. Steve Austin drunk all the time, and no one questions it. Apart from one bit where he's in an actual bar, and then someone goes, "Do you think we should maybe stop serving this 8-year-old kid alcohol?" Like, it's so funny.
So I'm going through a list of all the WWE movies, and I realized that I've seen way more of these than I thought.
Oh my
Oh
god.
god. I think the
Oh.
only one that I've
watching all of them.
the only one that I've seen
I think I've seen almost all of
I've
them.
seen about 10 minutes of fighting with my family, and that's literally it. Like,
That was actually a great film.
I didn't like it. I don't know why. I've got a very short attention span though. Like, I'm a fucking
Fair.
squirrel, I swear to God. So I was like, okay, this is boring. Like,
I'm
They've only
actually
seen all of them. All the Hanna-Barbera Scooby-Doo ones.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, you know there's a Jetsons one? You know this? I'm like,
yeah.
just send me all, I'll watch them, I guess. Like, geez.
I actually
My life.
fine.
I actually was a fan of 12 Rounds 2,
Which one's that one?
where Randy Orton plays the paramedic, and he like
That's
puts-
Wait, I don't even know
That's
what
a
12 rounds
strange
is.
combination of words. Randy
Ra-
Orton.
Yeah, wait,
Randy
what?
Orton plays a paramedic, and pretty much like he couldn't
The
save
six?
he couldn't save this guy's wife because like the guy and his wife got into a very bad car accident, and Randy Orton I guess couldn't save the guy's wife, so the guy decides he's going to take revenge on Randy Orton. So he gives him like these different trials to go through. So he has to do
Okay.
like, yeah, he has to
It's
do
like a
like all
Saw
the-
movie.
It is like essentially. So he pretty much has to like one is like steal a car, then one is he has to kill the kid who was drunk driving that caused the accident in the first place.
This is a lot.
Yeah.
It's
For
wild.
a Randy Orton movie? Does he have
Yes.
that?
Yeah. I don't know. He doesn't.
Well,
He sort of just does. But it goes between brooding and angry. So that's his range. It's just mad.
I know
like-
like John Cena was in the first 12 rounds,
Mm.
which was okay. But
Yeah.
like there's 3 12 rounds movies and each has a different WWE superstar and none of them have anything to do with each other.
Oh God.
We need to
What-
do a WWE movie podcast
Yeah.
where you just explain plots to us.
And
Oh, like-
we
like
just
12
sit and look
rounds.
confused.
Like 12 rounds 3 with Dean Ambrose.
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to watch that now. Great.
So I
Pretty-
want to know what I'm doing
pretty
with my
much
night.
Dean-
Well,
Dean Ambrose plays a cop.
okay, maybe not.
And then like
Okay, change my mind.
I don't know, you kind of lost me.
yeah, he
I feel like
plays a
he's like the
cop.
most anti-cop person to be as a
Yeah.
character wise.
Yeah.
I like See No Evil 2 way more than I like the first one. I'm still confused as to how
There
the
was a
fuck a
2?
sequel happened. Yes. I'm confused as to how the fuck a sequel happened,
Oh my God.
but I'm glad
Right,
it did.
Money.
I was just thinking, so remember how I was talking about this shitty, the 2K20 careers mode a while ago, right? There's a B plot in that where your male character has a feud with Miz over the lead role in The Bodyguard 4.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
That's amazing.
You have
Oh.
a ladder match for the script. It's so funny. But then
Oh.
but also your
That's so
co-star is your high school bully, and she's like your love interest. It's so funny. It's so bizarre. Like, honestly, like it's like 20 hours of gameplay, so it's not worth it. But there's so many moments in that are just so absurdly hilarious, and it's great. Like I talked last time about the one where like Papa Shango transports you to the underworld, and then you have to have like a match in a haunted house with like Nikki Cross and the Fiend, and then like Matt Hardy takes you on a pirate ship to literally hell, and you have a match with the Undertaker because they had to explain how you were feuding with the Undertaker without breaking kayfabe, and it's like they just it was like let's round up all the spooky characters and just this is a thing now.
This
So
is
all
what's happening.
they're all pals in the underworld, and Nikki Cross can scuttle on the ceiling with her head backwards like The Exorcist, and it's horrible.
I'm like,
It's like they were clearly struggling for like a woman who had like a scary thing going on. So they were like, Nikki Cross is a bit weird. She'll do. Like that's.
I'm still going through the list of like all these movies. And
Oh
I'm like,
God.
There's a
Gosh.
few I haven't seen, and then there's some I'm like, holy
Save it
shit.
for the movie podcast. We're reacting
Excellent.
to these.
Vendetta with the Big Show. The Big
While
Show.
we're on, did you guys watch the Big Show by any chance?
No,
I
I was gonna
did,
ask,
actually.
is that any good?
I watched it in its entirety, and I
It was
actually really
cute.
liked it, and I'm sad
Yeah,
that
I
it
thought it
got
was cute.
cancelled. because it was advertised like the whole way through WrestleMania weekend, obviously, and then I think
Yeah.
the first thing that we watched after like WrestleMania was the first episode of the Big Show
Big
show.
Show
It was like
show.
4. It was like 5 a.m. We were delirious, and then we ended up binge watching all of it in like 2 days, and then kind of sat back like, why did we do that with our lives?
It was
But
cute,
also,
though.
it was cute enough. I like, please do not take this out of context and cancel me. But that's the youngest kid. I would like drop kick her, like given any second. Like she was
Agreed.
so annoying. I hated her.
But-
Like I don't like it when like sitcoms do that thing where they have like a child that's meant to be like a sort of like precocious, like smart ass, but
Mm.
they're actually just a pain in the ass. Like that's, it's like, it's like Lily from Modern Family. Like I hate her
God.
so much. She's the worst. Like just smart ass sitcom kids are just like, there's an entire dimension of hell dedicated to them specifically. It just annoys the shit out of me. Like can't do it.
The buddy games. That's one of the ones I have to see.
Oh
What?
god, what the fuck is that about?
Sheamus is in this one apparently.
Excellent.
Yeah. The
What he deserves. I actually really like Sheamus. That was not in any way sarcastic. I really want to see this.
but yeah, Vendetta actually. Big Show is the villain, and it's him and Dean Cain.
Oh my God.
Okay.
And Dean Cain plays
Old
the cop.
Superman?
Yes, exactly. And Dean Cain plays the cop who originally arrested Big Show and sent him to prison. So Big Show's
Who are we supposed to
character,
root for in this?
I don't know, but the movie is actually, if you really like, if you turn your brain off and you just want like a brutally violent movie to watch, because it succeeds in that. And basically, Big Show's character breaks out of prison and like slaughters Dean Cain's wife.
Oh,
My big gripe with this so far, how the fuck does Big Show break out of prison? He's fucking enormous. You'd see him so quickly. Like that's not plausible.
It's actually really clever if I remember it correctly. It's actually pretty clever how he manages to go about it. But he like slaughters Dean Cain's wife. So like Dean Cain's character intentionally gets himself sent to prison so that he can get to the Big Show.
wait, so Big Show going back to prison? Wait, he broke out to go back in?
He broke out just to get like his revenge. So after he kills
Kill
the guy's wife,
Huh.
yeah, he lets the police arrest him
That's-
again.
It's like gratuitous violence against women. That's very, very not on brand,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
slightly for
A
WWE.
woman
That's
dying for character development.
Yeah.
never done that before.
There was Slight. Slight was actually pretty good.
Okay.
You can be making up names at this point, and I would believe
Yeah.
you.
I think you're actually just sitting there with like what the fuck are they called? Those like fill in the blanks, like choose your own adventure
Yeah, you're
things.
mad libbing it.
Mad Libs, that's the one. You're sitting with a Mad Libs book, just like and
Just
then
writing these in.
yeah,
I mean-
and then
Yeah.
Baron Corbin is Coast Guard. Who,
Hey, watch out! You're gonna be writing the future movies. They're gonna
like-
take our ideas from.
and he like finds a dead body, and then there's a car chase, and like it's just that's what it feels
Watch
like.
out! That's 12 rounds 5.
I wouldn't.
If there's a 4, I don't know.
I wouldn't watch anything Baron Corbin does. I've forced my like.
Kid. Baron Corbin matches are designated piss breaks for me, so like I'm not gonna watch a
Question:
movie.
Is he still a
with him.
king? I'm not
Yeah.
really current right now.
Yes.
That's still a thing.
He is indeed, and he's got the 2 members of the Forgotten Sons that aren't shitheads that are now his entourage, which is so funny. They came out in hoodies and like beat up the
Oh, I
Mysterio
forgot about those
family.
guys again.
That's why they're the Forgotten Sons.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, it's pretty apt if you think about it.
See, I mean, it works. Yeah, I wouldn't watch Baron Corbin do anything. I mean, I follow him on Instagram
Yeah,
because he like
the
he.
thing is, he seems genuinely quite sweet. He seems like a nice man. He's
Yeah,
just
he
a
seems
pain in the
chill.
fucking hole. Like
He's
that.
he's a hell of a cook.
Yeah, that's like
Good for
literally
him.
all I know about him right now.
That's literally
My
why I
friends
follow
love
on
him, and all I
Instagram.
ever see is food stuff, and I'm like, okay, you do you, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the reasons that you follow like wrestlers' Instagrams is for stupid stuff. Like I follow Roman because I think his tattoos are cool. I follow Natalia because I like her cat, and like
I follow.
there's
I
another
follow-
one that I follow for a really stupid reason. I forgot what it is. Like
I follow Andrade because I think it's adorable how he gushes about Charlotte.
Oh, that's cute.
Mhm.
It's genuinely
Yeah.
cute.
I
Oh.
think it's adorable.
That's my other one is Sonya Deville got a puppy recently and I'm obsessed with her. Her name's Demon. She's a little baby Rottweiler and I love her so much. There's like, she posted a video on her Instagram of this puppy just like biting the shit out of Mandy Rose, which was really funny. Like was so funny. It's so cute. Like, oh.
But,
I love wrestlers and like their outside world when it comes to like social media and stuff and like them being human beings as opposed
it's
to like,
that, like
the WWE trying to like control them.
It was like the post that Sonya made where she was like, yeah, Mandy apologized, so be good now. Like that's and it's like a photo of the two of them on a boat. Like it's so funny. And again, Kurt Angle and his whole thing where like 90% of his Instagram posts are about milk somehow. Good to know that he's not changed at all. Like
fantastic. Yeah, so this has been fantastic. I love this.
Winds of On
Direction. An
Direction
episode where we're supposed to shit on things.
and we ended up on WWE movies.
I get shit on those for a whole nother episode too.
I think we're gonna have to, honestly.
I'm telling you, we have to start a reaction series. I want to do this now.
Amazing.
I already have to watch the other Scooby-Doo ones, so I mean, we might as well.
And don't worry, there will be plenty of shit talking because there's definitely a second round to this coming.
Oh, definitely. I still have to talk about how much I fucking hate Cody Rhodes.
Oh, you know what? I can make time for that. Let's go.
Oh, I fucking hate Cody Rhodes.
Right.
I can make time for this. Let's go.
I've been wanting to ask about this because it was like, you've made it abundantly clear that you hate Cody Rhodes, but I don't think I actually know why.
Hold on. Let me grab a beer. Let me grab a beer first before he.
Yeah, like time out. Let's do this.
Grab a beer.
Fucking hate that guy. It's funny too because like the amount of people like in my comments, like they're always like, "Oh, you just clearly don't like the Elite. You clearly don't like Cody." And I'm like, "No, yeah, like for like the Bucks and like Kenny and stuff like that, like they're good wrestlers. Like I acknowledge that. I think as separate entities, they are good on their own. I fucking hate everything that the Elite stand for within wrestling. Like I've gone on record and like other things talking about how much I just hate them. Like they like kind of a hot take, but they were definitely like the worst thing to happen to the Bullet Club. Like sure, it gave them exposure, but like just the amount of infighting and this whole like subsection of that stable went and basically got popular by like, a bunch of like American fans that finally kind of like they gave them like recognition to like Japanese wrestling and stuff like that, but then they just kind of took the focus from actual other members from the group, and it was like, oh well, it's like the 4 or 5 popular white guys from this thing, like we're gonna make it all profitable, and then basically left their own thing to make a new company, and like no one gave a shit about the Bullet Club or any of that anymore. And just the fact that I know that people do that stupid argument, well, it's called All Elite Wrestling, we're gonna have the Elite in. It's like, yeah, but you shouldn't just like have a majority of your fucking EVPs be the champion. Take like time and focus from your actual new talent that you took from the indies and you wanted to showcase them. But now you're just leaning heavily on old WWE people.
That was your point. It was your point that you made earlier where AEW leans really heavily on nostalgia, and I totally get that. Because, like, that's the thing. It's the one thing that I'm really split on is that I fucking love Chris Jericho, but also not a week goes by on fucking Dynamite where I don't want to punch him in the face. Like,
it's weird.
Wait, is he a trash human being? I didn't know. Like,
yeah, he's like a weird conspiracy theorist. Who,
right.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Well, that's like
thing.
I can't take AJ Styles seriously because the first piece of information I found out about was that he's a flat earther. Yeah. So I just think he's funny now, and I like can't deal with him. It's like no, he's like he's really good. Like pay attention. No, but he thinks the Earth's flat, and it's like I watched a documentary about flat Earth, and he cameoed in it the other night. It was lovely.
Oh no.
It's called Beyond the Curve. It's on Netflix. It's really good, actually. There's this whole thing. This guy spent like a bajillion fucking dollars like on an experiment with a laser beam to prove that the Earth is flat. And he's like, well, like if the Earth is round, it'll do this thing. And he does it like 5 times, and surprise, the Earth is round.
Oh
and he's,
my god!
Really sad about it. It's so funny and so dumb, and it's great. Like, oh. I have to say, I did have to stop myself from going into a conspiracy theory wormhole because of it. Like, not as I'm believing this. Not like in a I'm believing this way, but I'm just too interested in it. Like
It's too fascinating to see what other people try to like believe in, which are
Yeah,
like they're wrong, but it's kind of like, wow, their conviction is just
yeah, it's like
crazy.
talk shit with conviction. It's impressive. Like, oh, it's so weird. Like, why are people like that? Like, God. Yeah, we were talking about the elite, and then somehow got onto flat Earth, so that was fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
And
like
conspiracy
AJ?
theories.
yeah.
That's how we got
AJ
it.
I didn't know that Chris Jericho was a conspiracy theory mental case, so that's fun.
And of course, like the whole COVID and like masks thing, and like
Oh
him
no, he's not one of
reality
those.
show.
Don't ruin him
Yes.
for me like that. Oh,
Yeah,
God.
I actually
and then donating what thousands of dollars to Trump, but like him and
Okay,
like
fuck that.
the Undertaker are both like major conservatives, so like that was depressing.
that was I mean, it's not like the Undertaker had a character called the American Badass that was just every single awful thing about like white trash Americana. Like, it's not like that's a thing that happened. We didn't see this coming. I've said this before. People whose favorite flavor of the Undertaker was the American Badass, it's the easiest way to like tell what a person is like. It's like
it's a red flag.
It's a red fucking flag because it's like it's just anyone like any kind of like that type of sort of Americana is always very like, nah, get away from me. Like, I don't trust you. It's just, it's so bizarre.
I had a brief interaction with Jericho on Twitter, actually.
Oh no.
And
oh God,
he was talking about the election, and he goes, does anybody, like, I don't think that, there was something about, like, do you guys remember the last time a recount ever changed the result? Because I feel like a lot of people are going to be hurt by this recount. I was like, first of all, the 2000 election. Second of all, not you in Americans' business.
Yeah, wait.
Yeah, like, fuck off, pal.
So I replied, and I was like, again, 1, 2000, and 2, not you in Americans' business. Like, stop it.
Like, you're not. She doesn't even go here. Like,
yeah, like you've lived in Florida for like 10 years, Jack. Stop it. So then,
I don't know.
Finally goes, yeah, the 2000 election, and he goes, oh yeah, you're right. Thank you for educating me. And I was like,
fuck off.
You know it's bad when Randy Orton of all people calls you an asshole.
Yeah.
This has had like, I'm sad now. I like Jericho. I thought he was one of the okay ones. Oh well.
I don't normally mention this type of stuff on my podcast, but I feel like I'm going to break here.
Like now,
that's
like
fair.
you kind of have to.
Yeah, it was funny.
That's the thing though, is that's my girlfriend's big thing is completely dead set refusing. Like she's like, no, I'm turning the blind eye about Taker being a Republican. It's like, babe, you're a trans lesbian Muslim drag queen. He probably hates you. Like, back down. Like, it's
like I can normally separate people from their beliefs. But
completely.
Like, when you're an asshole about it, like, stop.
Yeah. Don't be think what you want to think, but don't be a dick about it.
Exactly.
Like that's
Randy
opinions are like penises, as the saying go, or like political beliefs are like penises. Most people have them. Don't wave it about. Like, keep it to yourself. Don't get it out in public. That's the rule.
And exactly. But Randy Orton of all people was on Instagram and was like, Black Lives Matter.
He's learned from his past.
Absolutely. And Jericho goes, I think you mean all lives matter. And Randy Orton within a split second goes, I know what I said, asshole. And I was like, if Randy Orton calls you,
like it means a lot from Randy Orton because
you're an asshole.
He had a complicated past or stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I feel like I've got a part of me that's like, yeah, this isn't news to you. Like, stop this. But also, I'm like
the guy.
The one thing that sold him on me is the Price is Right segment where he just looks like an angry toddler. That was like one of the first pieces of him that I ever saw, and I was like, I like you, you're funny, but then apparently he's a prick. That's great.
It's like, wow, the guy who dropped an N-bomb on a live stream just pretty much called you an asshole.
Yeah. like if that's where it's coming from, then like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't think about Randy Orton. I've got this whole complicated joke with a couple of my friends about who the voices in Randy Orton's head really are, which is fun.
I've always assumed that one of them is Cosmo from the Fairly Odd Parents.
That's so much
Someone's
better than everything.
edit of that now. You know that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially in like when he had that whole feud with Jinder Mahal, and he's pretty much throwing the Singh brothers all over the place. Like I imagine that one voice in his head was Cosmo. He goes, "I bet you should flip him over the table!" Yay!
Oh, I forgot about
That's
that.
brilliant.
And then the second he does it, you just hear Cosmo go, "Cool!"
That's so good. But all these complicated theories about who the voices in Randy Orton's head really are. There's a couple of them have been drag performers that we know that we hate, which is always really fun.
Oh my god!
Because we've got this one
Right.
person that we know who goes on these big tangents online about mental health and then bullies people all the time. So we're like, the voice in Randy Orton's head is just this one queen going, mental health, mental health, mental health. And that's it. That's the voice in Randy Orton's head, which is why he's so mad all the time because it's fucking annoying. Like that's
But like the voices in his head are like Cosmo, William Wallace.
Your impression of Vince McMahon.
yeah.
Mel Gibson's impression of William Wallace.
That's what he thinks Drew sounds like. That's like
And like Kenny Rogers, just because.
just for shits and giggles, and like, oh god,
Oh, and also Randy Newman.
like
oh
the
god,
annoying
that would drive
orange.
anyone insane.
I hear voices in my head.
The annoying
Thank-
orange is the voice
No.
of Randy Orton's head. I'm
I
settled
can't
on this
unhear
one.
that now.
Time for an RKO.
No,
Oh no, that's gonna ruin it for me.
Every time
he was ruined. It was
I
ruined
hear
for me when I
voices
started.
in my head, they count me, they understand.
This is my other thing is changing the lyrics to people's theme songs. The lyrics to Randy Orton's theme song is now I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they shit in my bed in my house. That is what we sing it as, which is just not normal. And also since they started calling since the Randall Keith thing happened, I now just Randall Keith.
Well, fucking Xavier Woods, he ruined Dean Ambrose's theme song for me because that one up, up, down, down where he was like leather jacket. I can't unhear that now.
Leather
You, Jordan, you ruined Roman for me because I now can't not do
Roman.
Roman.
Yeah, I hear that too.
It's so fucking awful. I love it. Please plug bracket. Please charge. Begging you. Technology hates me.
Roman.
my-
Roman.
Oh,
Roman.
no.
Roman.
Here's my
Instead of
the
like
other
the
one.
shield spelling, it's just Roman.
The other one that really fucking annoys me is the so Tamina's theme is not very good, as I think we're all aware. But like Jasmine is my absolutely adamant that the words to it are boingy. It's just the word boingy repeated all the time.
Boingy.
It's like boingy. Boingy. It's like, no, it's not. It's actually what you think, apparently. That was in my Spotify Unwrapped this year. I'd listened to it 54 times. On purpose.
Boingy.
Nia Jax's theme was at 57, which is fucking embarrassing.
I have
think
Sami Zayn's one on my go-to workout
the thing
list
is,
when I'm at
I
work.
think it's because they were both I know because Tamina's theme was my alarm for a while. And I use Nia's is in my workout playlist because I have a certain number of squats that I have to do during it, and then after I've done them, I can turn it off. That's why that's in there. Because it's just the national anthem of I'm not like other girls. Like that's what it is. Like it's literally I'm not like most girls. Like just makes me vomit in my mouth. It's like
yeah, that was
stop it.
That's another thing that like a lot of people bring up, like the CM Punk pipe bump's really good, but like the AJ Lee one's not that good because it really is kind of anti-girl in a way when she did it. Where it was like, well, we're gonna pit these women against each other and kind of like highlight kind of like a not really good thing where it's like, well, I'm not these girls because like, I mean, yeah, there are major gripes when it comes to things about like the women during that time where a lot of it was having to do with like the reality television and kind of taking away from actual wrestling to have it be like a fake thing. But like,
yeah,
it's not the best way to go about that.
Yeah, it's just, it was, see, that's the thing, is that it's so easy to this is the problem that I have, is that I think that there's not a lot of women that do much writing for WWE, which is how you get into situations where stuff like that happens. Here's something, this is a very minor gripe in the grand scheme of things, but I noticed something recently and it's really pissed me off, right? Is the fact that men get to have allies or tag team partners. Women more often than not have best friends.
This
is not RuPaul's best friend race. Like, fuck off.
Wrestling is a contact sport.
Yes! It's because it's like the big one that really got me was when the Iconics split up.
Oh god,
and then like
honestly the dumbest decision they ever made.
And it was when it was like Michael Cole took over, like the Iconics have been making the Riot Squad's lives miserable for weeks. It's like, no, they've been slightly annoying them for 2 episodes of SmackDown at best. Like, you want to know, like, making someone's life miserable. Like, I can give you a list of stuff that was done to me in high school that was much more effective than the Iconics being annoying. Like,
that was
it's
all
like,
their
listen,
times. They were so good.
I know, they were so funny, and I missed it. Like, they're literally just like the seagulls from Finding Nemo, but wrestlers. But like, they were so funny, and I missed them so much, and it makes me so upset. And it's like, I'm sorry, the Riot Squad had got back together like a month ago. Who the fuck cares? Or better yet, how about we don't put a random loser has to split up in a qualifying match? Because that's the thing, it already had a stipulation. It was the fucking qualifying match for Clash of Champions.
You don't like the Riot Squad, but Astro Falcon is really trying. My nickname for Ruby Riot is Astro Falcon.
That's fair enough. I don't dislike the Riot Squad. I just find them a bit dull. Like,
that's fine.
They're both really good, but I think in terms of a team, because their whole thing's meant to be that they're like punk and whatever, I don't think there could be anything less punk about Liv Morgan if you fucking tried. Like, Ruby Riot's like cool. It's like it's all very like posy. Like it's kind of just an aesthetic thing. It's like there's nothing else that would suggest that that's their whole thing. They don't have many defining characteristics. They were just another kind of, we've got women's tag titles now. Let's hit randomly select tag team on the video game and then make that a thing, like Bliss and Cross and like all the rest of them. Like, that's because as much as I love them, it was very random. Like, and then you had stuff like fucking Samoan Slaughterhouse, just like, okay, you're big and you're big team.
Exactly,
like,
but
it was.
I have nothing against Ruby Riot. I like her, and I've never been one to harp on anyone's look, especially, growing up like a former alt scene kid myself, so I get it.
Yeah.
But she looks like the Falcon from Stuart Little.
She does a bit. I really like her. I like her so much better with the short hair, though. It suits her so much, and I love it. Especially because her hair, same problem with Liv Morgan, her hair extensions were really, really shitty, and you can tell where they like started. It's
I feel like she always permanently just has this face.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, that's been an ongoing thing, I think, the past couple of years with like the WWE's Glam Squad in particular, where they're just like not that good. I think they changed Glam Squads too. I think they changed like a whole
the thing. Like, Liv Morgan stresses me out because her hair extensions are so shit. I'm just waiting for the day that someone grabs her by the hair and just it all comes off. Like,
like Alana, that happened to her. And like, I think it was like a house match where like Naomi or someone pulled Lana's hair and her
Lana's clip-on ponytail stresses me out so much. So like, that's because I've performed in those before for drag. They are not easy to keep on your fucking head, let me tell you. This was just me rolling about the floor. It wasn't
they're hard.
Anyone was pulling it. Like,
my cousin and I actually always made the joke of the real loser in the Hell in a Cell match between Sasha and Charlotte was whoever did Sasha's extensions.
Yeah. Honestly, Sasha Banks' wig glue, the unsung hero of WWE. Like, I swear to God.
Oh my
Because
god.
that shit don't
yes.
move.
I love
I
Sasha.
remember-
Apart from that one,
Ugh.
I think it was a match with Asuka where like I can't remember what had happened, but like the first thing that happened after the bell was like Bailey kind of swooped in on Sasha and pulled her wig down because it had kind of started slipping. It was like that has been done to me by other people on many a night out in drag. It's great.
My favorite.
Like
My favorite was like, and then like the next night she got into it with Naomi, and Naomi was like, "I'm gonna snatch her ball," and I was like, "Nah, the cell did that, but cool."
yeah.
Damn. That just reminds me of the Nobody's Watch Wrestling on YouTube. Like they have like a reoccurring segment where they were like critiquing Sasha's like wigs.
Yeah. And the fact I honestly just for experiment's sake want to get whatever the hell it is that they sell as a Sasha Banks wig on the WWE website because it looks so trashy, but I want to try it just because it's funny. Like because
You
it
know
just
what?
looks like a shitty Party City wig, but they're charging $20 for it.
I'm gonna
like-
get it and then do like the next time all of us get together for an episode. I'm just gonna wear it.
Do it.
Can we,
Oh
can
my
we all,
god.
Can we all just
Everyone
come in shitty
cosplay.
cosplay? Well, I've got my Edge shirt now, so like
Well,
that's
wait, the
that's
wig is
it.
currently on sale.
Is it?
Oh
Excellent.
gosh.
It's $11.99.
We can all be Sasha
Oh.
Banks. Here we go. It's the way forward. I think I've got purple actually, so we can just be different eras of Sasha Banks.
Oh, well, I guess I'll be NXT.
Yeah,
Where
brown.
it's kind of like, yeah,
She's had
brownish
dark hair for a
purple.
while.
Oh my god, her jacket is on sale too. Damn.
Oh,
You don't need it. You do not need it.
But,
we'll all be different, like one of the
but
horsewomen.
it's gold.
I had to say I had to be stopped from buying a Bailey Halloween costume recently because I was gonna wear it for drag because I thought it'd be funny.
Yeah.
Like you know, like her old one where it was like all the like tassels and stuff.
Yeah.
It was like sort of like it reminds
You
me
have
of
someone be
Ultimate
one of the
Warrior, but not
inflatable
quite.
arm
Like,
guys.
I miss
Oh
the
my-
Bailey buddies so
I
much.
do miss the Bailey buddies. I
Just do
I-
that.
You know what my favorite thing is? Watching compilations of kids crying when they
Oh.
watch that bit where she like fucked up the Bailey buddies. Like there's so many videos of just little kids like losing their shit
Oh
because
my
Bailey's
God.
like a bad guy now. It's so funny. But in the worst possible like I'm really not a kid person. I make an exception for your child specifically because she's really cute. But like
you know what?
That's-
You know what? Hard same.
it's like
Hard same. And I'll talk about it and I'm like, oh, fucking kids. And they go, aren't you a father? And I'm like, I'm not talking about my fucking
There's
kid.
an asterisk right there. Can't you see?
yeah. It's like, yeah. Because it's like I'm like an oldest child, and I did not like my brother. This is the first year of my life that I've actually quite liked my brother because he's become like a sort of semi-acceptable human being now, so I can actually talk to him. Like, because you know what, like little, like because when you're like little, it's like. Nah, like you just naturally predisposed to hate each other, and then like he was a teenage boy for quite a while and was an asshole. So I'm like, nah, I'm friends with you now, but because I never grew up with kids that I like interacted with, and like, so I just don't know how to do kids. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know what to do with them. Like they just stress me out. I don't understand them.
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, being a dad has been, and I know this is changing, like topics to the max,
Yeah.
but being a dad, honestly, is probably one of the more fulfilling things that I've done.
Mm.
Like when I first found out my wife was pregnant, I was like, holy fuck, how do I dad? Like, what is this? And like it's fun because every day, like she's 6 now, and literally every day she does something. I'm like, huh, that's new. Like this podcast is like the best thing that ever happened to both of us
Mm.
because now every time she walks by and she sees my computer open, no matter what I'm doing, she thinks that it's podcast related.
Mm.
And she's like, oh, who are you talking to? Or, hey, are you recording?
Aww.
So I let her do the new intro to my
That,
podcast.
the
That's
intro's
her
so
work.
sweet.
Yeah,
It's so
that's
cute.
her. And she was so excited to do it. We actually did that in one shot.
Really?
Mm.
I didn't need to record it again. We did it in one take, and she was
So
done.
sweet.
She loves the cave. That's what she calls it. I call it my nerd cave, but she calls it the Blatino cave.
Oh,
So
so cute.
I think I'm gonna stick with that.
That's that's adorable.
She wants to do everything that I do. So like for like her third birthday or fourth birthday, we bought her a Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
Now she wants an Xbox. She's a little annoyed I didn't give her the PS4 when I got the PS5.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, same.
yeah. So then she wants to play on the arcade cabinet all the time.
so cute.
Yeah,
It's adorable.
we've gotten her into different kind of music, and like I feel like I had like a proud dad moment because like one minute we were both singing to Billie Eilish, and then the very next song was A Day to Remember, and she's
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god, icon.
I have to send you guys the video of her singing along to A Day to Remember. I think I actually posted it on TikTok. I have to find it.
So
and
fucking
tag you guys.
cute.
It's amazing. And yeah, it's exciting. I used to, before COVID hit, every month me and Erica would take Haley to, we have like these local wrestling shows. And Pro Wrestling Magic actually is the company. And fun fact, Keith Lee, Cody Rhodes, and a few others have all wrestled for them.
Ooh.
So I've seen a lot of these guys.
In my immediate face reaction to Keith Lee,
Yeah.
I love him. He's the best. Oh.
We,
Can you tell that it's 5 a.m. and I'm starting to go a bit delirious? That's like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. It
But,
kind of just happened. I'm like, oh shit, it's that time. I need to get up in
That's
5
just it.
hours. Yay.
Staying up late. As a matter of fact, Vaughn is the only one literally still in yesterday.
Oh god, I am. Aren't I?
Yeah.
It's only 9 over
Yeah.
here.
Oh
Yep.
god, I'm looking for some.
Enjoy December 5th.
I was still at work at 9. That's
Stuck in the past over there.
yeah.
I mean,
fuck's
yeah.
sake.
At least I don't have the
But,
nostalgia that a lot of other people do.
But I would take her to the local wrestling show. Her favorite wrestler is Smiley,
Oh my gosh.
and he's pretty much like he's awesome. First of all, he's currently the Pro Wrestling Magic champion, and he's a lucha, but his mask is literally a smiley face.
Yeah, I think I've
Oh,
seen him.
that's so cool.
And every time he comes out and Haley is there, he will like seek out Haley. And every time there's an intermission, he comes and gets her, and they take pictures together. And every that
my
is like her
That's
best friend.
so cute.
This is the
That is
wrestling I love.
adorable.
And every
so
time she sees, she
lovely.
goes, "Hi, Smiley." So Smiley will like do his little introduction and come out, give her a high five, and then go into the ring. And then for intermission, he'll come out and he'll walk right up to her, and he'll put her in the ring, and they'll take pictures.
So
Like,
cute.
There's a picture I took of them where like she's pinning him, and it's like hysterical.
This is awesome. Oh,
That's amazing.
It's fun. See, I worked wrestling into that. So
yeah. There you go. Proud of you.
no, she
That's like-
yeah, she's a little me, from my hair to my eyebrows. She even has my name. So
Yeah.
yeah,
She's
Haley.
just such a fucking rock star. She's so cute. Like
Oh,
that.
She really is. You guys are getting a kick out of her. I think one day I'm going to record early enough to just have her sit in and just let her.
That would be all.
chime in
Again,
like she-
Totally.
I know that you've said that it's not a problem, but I'll feel bad if I swear as constantly as I do. So
Oh
like,
my god, me too. All I ever do is swear.
Yeah.
I don't notice it.
it's like, listen, I'm from Scotland. Fuck is not a word. It's it's punctuation. Like that's.
when I tell you have nothing to worry about, I'll put it to you like this: I'm married to an Irish woman.
Okay.
Oh,
fair
okay.
enough.
Yeah, we were both like,
Oh,
oh,
there you go then. I'm gonna end the
I,
story.
Erica's Irish, so
Yeah. I was gonna say, well, my dad's half Irish, and the phrase "watch your fucking language" gets used in my house constantly. So like, that's Yeah.
we say that to Haley all the time. Haley will say something, we'll go, "Would you stop fucking cursing?"
so funny.
I wish she was still awake, because you guys have to hear her rap song. It's so funny.
Oh God! Why? How have you managed to have the coolest kid like
We-
ever?
Right?
That's
We
not
were-
fair.
I don't know where she heard the song from, and I was a little leery about repeating it on the podcast, but at this point, fuck it.
Yeah.
She was doing like her schoolwork, and I mean, she fine. Fortunately, she wasn't on like the laptop or anything, so her teachers or no one like that heard her. But I mean, she's getting into the schoolwork, and so I'm sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden, Haley's got her pencil, and I just hear, "I knew this bitch named Becky. She liked to talk real sexy." And I was like, "What the fuck?"
That's amazing. Like, listen, coming as someone who once performed S&M by Rihanna for School Talent Show when I was about 10, good on her. Like, that's...
And I was, oh my god, I was in tears.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh my god. I laughed about it like I was out of breath from laughing so hard. Because she was just so casual about it, and it caught me off guard.
That's
She's like,
brilliant.
I knew this
I
bitch
love
named
that.
Becky.
I love that.
So I was like, can you sing? Because I cut her off because I was laughing. So I go, can you sing that song again? And she like looked at me and gave me a look like, are you sure? And I was like, let me, I was like, how's this song go? So she goes, I knew this bitch named Becky. She liked to talk real sexy. Nasty bitch. I was like, there's no way this is a real song.
No, it's a TikTok thing. Like, it was a TikTok meme for ages. Like,
It was a Peppa Pig TikTok. She saw it.
Fuck off. That's amazing.
Love the world of Peppa Pig TikTok.
Oh God, that's
Peppa Pig.
experience.
And that's how I learned about Peppa Pig TikTok.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my god. And I was like, Haley, you can never, ever, ever sing this song for anyone. And she goes, okay, Dad, I know. And I'm like, good.
As long as
Just do
we're
it again
clear.
one more time, though.
Just for funsies.
Just, you know.
Yeah. I knew this bitch named Becky. So I ended up finding the song, and I'm in the car and I'm listening to it, and I don't have it in me to tell anybody that I learned this song from my 6-year-old.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh.
But anyways, I realize it's getting to be
Yeah.
about that time.
I think you're starting to lose me, honestly. Like, we might get a reenactment of me watching Survivor Series if you give it another 10 minutes. So that's watching Survivor Series.
Well, I thank you guys for joining me.
It was fun.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Like,
We will absolutely do this again.
Oh, hell
This
yeah.
is-
We
this
have
is
tons
so
of
fucking
things to talk
fun.
about.
I know, it was like, oh, I'm not even going to try and put a string of sentence together at this point. Just
And I thank Vaughn and Slay for joining me, and I thank you guys at home for joining me again. And remember, you can't spell Latino without the T. So I will catch you on the next one. And as always, keep it nerdy.